so I'm just going to start us up straight away. So let's get going in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so this is Yakuza 6. As a side note, this game has about 13 hours of cutscenes, so I will do my best to be able to keep everybody detailed on what's going on. I will do my very best not to spoil previous entries in the series, considering there's a lot of people who are getting into the series for the first time now. But Yakuza 6, basically, the very start of this, we're going to start off in boss battle. It's going to be sort of the tutorial for the game. Most of the games have a tutorial. You'll probably hear me reference Yakuza 0 a lot, because Yakuza 0 is one of the other Yakuza mainline games that I run a lot. With Yakuza 0, it's on a more older engine, whereas Yakuza 6 is on a completely brand new engine, which makes it a little nicer to speedrun, because everything is fully voiced, which means that everything is skippable. In Yakuza 0, we had cutscenes about Mahjong that were not skippable, that were about 5 minutes long. But we're here at the start of the game. This is Hiroshima Thug. His name's actually Nagamo, which we'll find out soon enough.
I've seen him a couple of times.
This basically is the tutorial, and nice, that was actually pretty good. We have to do, obviously, what it says on the screen. It can run out. As you can see, Nagamo kind of swag walks sometimes, and is a pain in the backside. In between certain combos, I'll start building the damage up so that we can finish him off. And I'm leading him intentionally over here. Nice. And you can see that we're leading in. It's just teaching you about the basic combos. You've got light on square. You've got heavy on triangle. Please don't dodge. Nice. You broke the bikes. Nagamo, why?
Perfect example of how good the physics are in this game and how objects interact with people.
Yeah, you're going to see some amazing ragdolls. It takes some time for the heat action to actually arrive. It's not too bad that he broke most of the bikes, because when we're in extreme heat, which is here, you can use that bike when Nagamo doesn't kick it away. And then when you're in extreme heat, you will get a special little attack like this. For the most part, there's 2 different ones. You can upgrade some more in the game. The one that we just got twice is actually the fastest one. If we manage to have a bike stayed around instead of Nagamo kicking at us, we like to call it bike strats, because it's literally you pick the bike up and you hit the guy in the face with a bike. Bike strats.
And the bike only lasts for 3 hits.
Yes, that's one of the, I guess, downsides to the new engine, is that every single weapon in the game has contextually only 3 hits. So that makes them pretty strong when we can get our hands on them, which is only twice. But also another thing is that in most of the mainline Yakuza games, you can actually pick up equipment around town or from side activities. In this one, you can't store weapons. You can store gear and stuff and have that on, but weapons are unfortunately not on the table. But yeah, this was just basically, plot-wise, this was just a flash forward. We're now gone backwards to the events after the end of Yakuza 5. Without saying too much, there's a big war between the Tojo, who Kiryu Kazuma, the main series protagonist, used to be the 4th chairman of. He's currently in the hospital. He's been hospitalized. He's having a weird psychedelic dream where you can see all the important characters of the games. Those on the right you won't see. These on the left you'll see quite a lot, apart from the kids, I guess. And then you have to walk to the light to wake up.
His entire gang is basically in prison.
Pretty much, yeah.
At least most of his friends are in prison, so we don't even see them in the run, which makes me kind of sad because we miss Majima.
Yes, unfortunately. Majima only turns up twice, and you won't be seeing him in the run at all, I'm afraid. So for Majima fans, I do apologize, you won't be seeing him at all. But yeah, basically, Kiryu is in hospital, but because of the war between the Tojo, who Kiryu used to be the 4th chairman of, which is the big Yakuza clan in kind of Tokyo, and the Omi Alliance, who are the big Yakuza clan over in Osaka, somebody had to take the fall. The police basically didn't want to spark off another Yakuza war, so instead, because Kiryu is such a legend, they decided to arrest him while he's hospitalized, as you do. So in the meantime, Haruka Sawamura, who I guess the easiest way to sum her up is his kind of adopted daughter. She is running the Morning Glory Orphanage. There's the kids right there. She basically went off to look after the kids herself. And unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of tabloid stuff after she basically did something at the end of Yakuza 5 that brought like everything to the forefront, and basically a load of like people are like slanting her online and saying like, oh, you know, the orphanage is raising Yakuza kids, blah, blah, blah. But that's not true at all. But she gets stressed, and she basically tries to run away. It's actually really hard to move inside buildings, as you're seeing. We're probably going to mount this phone in a second when we don't mean to. Oh, we didn't. Excellent.
It's kind of hard to get around tight corners when you're sprinting like that. Likes to get stuck on walls and doors. Yeah.
Yes, there's a first-person view that's new to the series in this engine. You can use that, but it's a little slow to turn. Now, one of the big new things is because the city's had a remodel. They've introduced these things called vending machines. I think everybody knows what a vending machine is, but these vending machines have a variety of drinks. All of these drinks hold different properties. The first one we're going to get is one called Poseidon Power. It says that it's supposed to increase the length that you sprint, but actually it gives you unlimited sprint, which at the start of the run is very useful. There are a few exceptions to when you can have a drink. I'll bring those up when we get to them. But basically, Kiryu got arrested after he woke up. He now... It takes a while to load as well sometimes. It's kind of weird. I always get worried that it's gonna actually crash. I'm just gonna delay sprinting here so I don't accidentally hit the cutscene trigger. But basically, Kiryu spent 3 years in prison. He came out. Haruka is nowhere to be seen, so he's come back to the old stomping ground, Kamurocho, to go and find her, and also to go and find his old friend Akiyama, who was introduced in Yakuza 4, who was looking after her in Yakuza 5 and should know where she is. However, we can't get in contact with Akiyama, and we just found that his business, Sky Finance, is actually closed. So we're going to go and try and find out from all the locals, basically, what's going on.
Basically everyone he knew in town, or he kind of disappeared while he was gone.
Yep. One big important thing to note is that at the start of the game 3 years ago, an area in town called Little Asia, which housed all of the Chinese residents of Kamurocho, was burnt down. Suspected arson, which... I hate this door. If you accidentally hit that door and you close it like that, it takes longer because you have to then do the door opening animation. And one thing that is very much a symbol of the Yakuza series is you have to go and get stuff for hobos. I'm going to get some extra steamed buns just in case for marathon safety, because at some point in this run we're going to run into the very real opportunity that we're going to die very, very quickly. But the big speed tech of this run is the blue vending machine here that holds this, which is CC Lemon. CC Lemon is an attack buff. It's a time duration. We actually have some CC Lemon that Sloth has got imported in. I can't grab it right now. There's no way.
No, you kind of forgot about it.
I gotta hit these folks with giant traffic cone. Basically, CC Lemon gives you an attack buff, which I believe, and my numbers might be a little off here, but I believe it's a base 40% increase at level 0. And I believe it's a 10% increase every level after that. So at certain points in the run, I'll be upgrading my skills to make sure that I actually have the right amount of either sprint or the right amount of vending machine drink. I have set places where I do this, obviously, but every fight, every kind of like side activity that we do in the game, you can get experience for. With regards to the move upgrades, I'm not going to go ahead and say that my route is 100% optimized. I think there might be something a little more optimized. So far, I'm the only person who's ran any %. I'd like to give a big shout out while we're doing this run to Half Coordinated, who did a run of this on New Game Plus any %. That was awesome. That's a really bad fight spawn. Every so often as we're running through the city, we'll be getting fight spawns. I managed to get past it there, which was nice. But that's an example of something that we don't want to see.
The random encounters are really bad. That's basically just the time loss if you get stuck in them.
Yeah, they're a little less predictable than Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 had 3 different types, where you had people walking around like that. stationary people walking around like that where you have to actually bump into them to aggro them, and also people picking on people on the street that you had to interact with to actually start. For these guys, we're going to grab this sign on the left. We're trying to manipulate them to be able to hit them all in one hit. That's a shame. And hopefully we can get these guys in one hit. The guy at the back usually likes to walk off.
Yeah. There you see that he only had 3 swings with the sign. So if he would have gotten the first group with the first swing, he might have been able to not have to pick up a new sign.
Yeah, but basically the Tojo are at war with the Sayo Triad. The Sayo Triad have moved into, this is Little Asia here. This is the area that burnt down early on. Basically, that's a real bad, what is happening? The nice thing is, every time you interact with a vending machine or, oops, hello bike. Yeah, physics by the way. Every time you interact with a interactable object, enemy spawns around you will despawn. So we'll be using that potentially Keely just like then as certain parts of the run to despawn enemies. For the most part, that one we have to do anyway because we need the Poseidon Power, because we need sprint level 3 to get over here. We're doing a bit of like pedestrian dodging, obviously.
Kiryu gets staggered if he runs into people, so...
You can't stack CC Lemon and Poseidon Packet, no.
Unfortunately not, no. You can delay drinking it through certain cutscenes, but if it leads into a fight like this, you can't, it disappears. That guy has a broadsword, by the way. So we're going to be... I really needed that. So the other method... Hello? Grab someone, Kiryu? The other method of like dealing with massive crowds in this game, because of the new engine, is grabbing people and throwing them.
Unless you hit the beam and they get interrupted.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think CC Lemon can help me punch people in the face quite this well, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. While this event is sponsored by Red Bull, this run is carried by CC Lemon.
Yep. Yeah, huge shout outs to our actual ESA partners, Red Bull. Unfortunately, that's not in the game, but Yakuza World has an amazing amount of like product placement.
There's so much.
Yeah, if you actually recognize like the shops and the product placements, like this is based on a real world district in Tokyo, and it's mapped beautifully. That is actually a good fight spawn for once. This is the place where it usually messes me up, because that fight spawn usually spawns coming towards you, and you have to take a little extra detour to use the vending machine, but we actually got really lucky there. When we hit Little Asia, there was a cutscene that we skipped where basically there was a meeting between some kind of higher ranking Tojo officials and the Sayo Triad, including a guy called Ed. Ed is amazing, and you're about to see him real soon. And he basically decided to do some backflips while holding a karambit knife and shot everybody.
He's a very angry, large Chinese man.
Yes, you're about to see. So this is the homeless man who needs the bento. In some Yakuza games, you have to get them alcohol. This guy just wants food, which is nice. The place that I routed in to get it is the easiest way to get it. I got some... you saw that knife in the top right, actually. That's another thing about the new engine, is that weapons are everywhere. Because you can't carry them, weapons are everywhere. And as an aside, they're slightly overpowered. And so are heat actions for the most part. If I was to be upgrading my heat actions, then they would be overpowered. But for the most part, I'm going to be upgrading raw base damage. But we go down into the sewers and find our old mate Akiyama down here, who's actually hiding from the Sayo Triad. And Ed, with one of the most amazing battle themes in the entire game. Oh, that was a good hit, getting 3 of them. So ideally we want to hit Ed with 2 hits remaining on the barrel. There's some really cool fight QTEs in this game that you're going to see. Don't worry about missing Ed's theme here. You're going to be hearing it way more later.
Yeah, because it's very good at making you fight the same people several times.
The series generally has really solid music.
So basically, Ed's going to have 1 more hit left. The rule of thumb for Yakuza games, and for most of the new Yakuza games, is there is a mid-fight QTE. For the vast majority of fights, you have to see this mid-fight QTE before it can end, hence why Ed hasn't died yet. Goes into extreme heat, we're just going to kick Ed in the backside, and he's gone. Please don't punch him away, Akiyama. Thank you. Nice, so that's Ed down.
That's pretty clean.
Yeah, thankfully. For the most part, this run and fights are going to be kind of like an RPG, where I'm going to be trying to manipulate the AI. There we got very lucky in the NPCs that actually came towards us.
Yeah. That's the ideal situation, where they all kind of just gather right in front of you, so you can just sweep them with one of the pickup weapons, because then it just saves so much time not having to pick up stragglers.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So once we defeated Ed, we had a phone call from Makoto Date, who's been in the Yakuza series since the very first game. He's part of the police force, kind of Kiryu's like best friend, etc. Cop Yakuza relation. And basically got a phone call saying that they found Haruka, who was in Kamurocho and has been hit by a car. And even more importantly than that, she was protecting something, a baby called Haruto. We have no idea who the father is. Kiryu's kind of like stunned and taken aback that, you know, his little adopted daughter has walked off and had a kid with someone who's not even around.
Pretty much. Like, he was in jail, and then he comes back, and she's not where she was supposed to be. She had a child, and she got hit by a car. And all his friends are gone.
There's a long-running meme that Kiryu just gets angrier and angrier. And in this game... in this game, oh yeah. Basically, Kiryu kind of has had enough. We're going to do a little bit of Batman here and look. Oh yeah, there's some blood on the floor. There's tire tracks. There's been a... This is where she got hit, for sure. The tire tracks seem to indicate that actually the car seems to try and swerve out of the way, which is an interesting plot for later. This is one of those cutscenes I said where you can run into this guy and actually like have the drink on you afterwards. That actually is very important for trying to get to the very end of this, because the buff only lasts just enough. So I'm hoping. Yes. There's a weird thing here where this guy can actually get stuck there and waits like a good 10 seconds, wasting like a load of your buff. You can see how much it's going down at the top left there. You will see later on that these buffs will last way longer, like a good, probably about 5 minutes towards the end of the game.
Yeah, since this is carried by the drinks, then Froob is gonna go into perks that lets them last longer.
He almost got hit by an invisible car there. This suspicious man is actually part of the Tojo. He was sent to keep an eye on Kiryu by a guy named Somio and a guy named Sugai. We're going to be going and meeting them soon. You won't be seeing them for the vast majority. That's a good fight spawn. That's awesome.
Go around them.
Usually they're walking down here towards this way, and you either have to use the vending machine on the left, or you have to kind of like try and make your way around to the right of them. And the thing is, you can, with this new engine, fight scenes can happen almost instantly. So
at least you can run away from them in this game.
For the most part. This one we wouldn't be able to because we have to activate the
you need to go to the other side of them, which makes it hard.
If the trigger is an area trigger, so you just have to get to a certain area, then you can get into a fight and then just run into that trigger and it will cancel the fight out. If it's an activatable like this or a door, which we call door triggers, then you have to finish the fight first. So for certain fights, certain areas, we really don't want to get into fights. We really, really don't. But basically what happened there was we went off to Tojo HQ to find out what's going on. We met Somio and Sugai, who basically established themselves as the pains in the back of the series, or for this game. And basically they talked about their way of doing the Yakuza, how it's more modern now, how Kiryu's old way of Yakuzaing is not applicable anymore.
He has a very contradictory point of view, because at times he respects Kiryu, but at other times he's like the biggest tool in the game.
Yep. You will be seeing Somia at points through the game. You won't actually be seeing Sugai, which is interesting because he's one of the main villains. And usually when they're a main villain, at some point you punch them in the face. But not Sugai, interestingly enough. Nice,
like
that's good. That's
Nice.
Good sweep.
Yep, sometimes that guy that the camera just focused on, also Ragdoll's amazing in this game. Sometimes that guy who the camera focused on can walk backwards and like walk away, which is very annoying. But fortunately they all stay together. For the most part, you'll think that I'm just grabbing a weapon and doing things fast, but I am trying to manipulate the AI to stay together. This is a side activity that the game's telling about. It's called Troubler. Yes, the reference is supposed to be intentional. We are supposed to use that to do side missions like, oh, hey, there's like a burning building around Kamurocho or someone's planted a bomb. And it's like little side activities that you can do casually. We don't care in the run.
Casually, this game has a lot of side stuff. But we don't get to see like any of it.
Some of the side stories are very funny and very silly, and it's brilliant.
Yep. There's like, I think there's like 62 sub-stories in this. You have different mini-games, shogi, mahjong for the traditional kind of games. You also have traditional Japanese card games. I don't know if they're in this one per se. Ochikabu, Koi Koi. Hanafuda, one other that I'm forgetting, CeeLo, the dice game. And then you have a whole bunch of other stuff. You can go and do hostesses because it is based on like the red light district. So basically, some dude wants to take Haruto into protective custody. Kiryu's like, no. And unfortunately, Akiyama realizes he has to be the guy that kind of stops Kiryu.
And Kiryu is very mad, so he doesn't care who stands in his way, even if it's one of his best friends of all time.
Yeah, because Kiryu was brought up in an orphanage himself, he doesn't want that for Haruto. And his reasoning is that because Haruka is kind of his adopted daughter, you can see the massive damage boost that we're just getting. Like, usually this fight would take way longer, but 2 hits, a QTE, and he's out. You'll see in a little bit when there's a bit of a stronger boss, the actual effects. And Akiyama even notes after that fight that it's not fair that he has to fight Kiryu. Like, he just gets absolutely destroyed.
Friendly reminder that they just had a fight in the nursery.
Yeah, with the baby sleeping in the back, by the way.
Good thing it has plot armor.
Yes. So we have a quick little bit of plot. We go and speak with Date in Serena, which is, I forgot to mention, is a very important point in the Yakuza series for Kiryu. Kiryu's basically just taken the baby, and Date's just gone, you don't feed the baby that kind of food, you idiot. This is how you be a dad. Because Kiryu doesn't know. Kiryu's been a Yakuza for, well, he wasn't a Yakuza for, he was a Yakuza for most of his life, and then like got out of the business, and you think he knows how to take care of a baby considering around an orphanage, but...
He just knows how to be a big bro.
Yeah. He knows how to punch people and make them understand reasoning through that.
He's a good role model for the other Yakuza, that's about it.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, Haruka had a cell phone on her. It was mostly damaged in the accident, but they managed to pull a picture, and they found out the picture was taken in Hiroshima, on Amici to be precise, which is where the game's second setting is. It's drastically different from Kamurocho in that there's like not as many activities to do, so it's kind of like a sleepy town, so to say, but it's really awesome because it doesn't have much to do. It has a lot of really personal stories, and now something very important is the fact that we're holding Haruto right now. We can't sprint as fast. We can still sprint, and it does still use up our sprint meter, so at some point here I am going to have to get some sprint upgrades, but more importantly, we can't get any vending machine drinks while we're holding Haruto.
Oh, you also don't get any fights while he's running around with the bag and the baby.
Okay. Whilst in this section. Other sections we can.
Later when you just hold the baby, it can't happen.
You literally pass the baby off to a random passerby and say, hold the baby.
You just give random bystanders the baby while he punches people.
Remember this guy? Nagamo's back.
Oh,
so
it's that guy. Round 2.
We've met Nagamo now. We don't have to tutorialize this. This is not the tutorial fight, so we're not back at the same point just yet. Bikes, bigger weapons are generally what you want to go for. There's a gas cylinder in the corner there that we can't pick up because it's just out of the fight. Otherwise, it'd be probably the thing that I'd get. Hitting Nagamo to get him down to half HP. Hits his extreme heat mode, which he didn't have in the tutorial, obviously. He takes a little less damage. He deals a little more damage. He also has kind of like more iframes. It's kind of frustrating. Like there, he doesn't care that you know he's got hit.
You get like 2 hits in per swing with the regular attacks.
Objects all do roughly the same damage, right?
What was that, sorry?
Objects do roughly the same damage, right? Like bikes and just everything.
No.
Okay.
Smaller ones do a little less. The baseball bat that I was trying to grab just to do like a quick kill on him actually does a little less. Bikes do way more damage.
So bikes optimal.
Bikes, benches, knives. Knives and guns are very important. Knives are sharp weapons. Guns are obviously guns. They break through guard, which is exceptionally important for certain parts of this run. Bosses, especially after a certain point, are going to start guarding. This is a more free-flowing battle system, and with most bosses, I know where they're going to start guarding, or I can get a feel for it. We are now back... Oh, no, not just yet. Sorry. Oh, no, it's this bit. Oh, boy. So basically what's happened is we've introduced ourselves to the locals. We went to Kiyomi, that's her bar there. This is Ino, he's another local resident. Basically the 3 of them, Ino, Kiyomi, and Nagamo, obviously. They're kind of childhood friends. Nagamo decided to go off and be a Yakuza. Ino's like giving a few like details now. I realize I haven't given you much time for any messages, so this would be a very good time before the next bit if you've got any messages.
Yeah, we've got a $5 donation from Polista saying, "Wow, Tekken 7 got a real facelift. Good luck to Froob on his run. Money goes towards the Flying Haruto cutscene."
Thank you very much.
Which I can update you on.
Oh, yes,
We
please.
currently have $177 on that and will need to reach 500. So I think we have like about half an hour left. Get in those donations if you want to see a really good cutscene.
Yeah, you guys really want to see that cutscene. It's amazing. It just sums up how incredible the Yakuza scene is. But
Very stark contrast between dark Yakuza world and comedy at the same time.
The series blends the two perfectly.
it's funny you should mention Tekken 7 actually, because in the game in full is Virtua Fighter 5. In full, with online. So, hey Twitch chat. Do you like motion controls? Do you like gyro controls?
We're gonna shake the baby.
We're gonna shake the baby. Remember those trouble missions I told you about? You are forced into them here, and unfortunately, we're gonna be going right into any kind of cringe compilation here, because I'm gonna look like a right idiot doing this. Basically, Haruto is crying. Kiryu, being the best dad ever, didn't buy any milk before we left, so we're now going around to find some milk, and Haruto is gonna throw up a trouble mission that you're gonna see very soon. We have to appease Haruto by doing certain movements with the controller.
Shake the baby.
I hope it's Shake the Baby. That's the first one. He has certain tells depending on how he does, or like how he moves. Please shake. That's Upsy Daisy, right? Yeah, that's the one that never comes up and I don't know the tell for. This baby's being cheeky today. Shake the baby. Optimally, we will only get this twice. And you really want to... Is that Rob's or is that Upsy Daisy? Upsy Daisy. Two Upsy Daisies? What are you doing? 130, 133 is okay. The average is about 136. Two Upsy Daisies. Why? But basically, there's 4 different things. Rub is the worst one because you actually have to like use the touchpad and rub the touchpad. I have forgotten to do my first big upgrade. I should have done it here. I need a sprint level 3, and I guess I'll get the rest for the rest of this. Boost combo, dash attack, charge attack, and we'll shove a little bit into attack. That'll do for the next fight that's coming up soon. If you've got time for any more messages, this would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, we've got another $10 donation from Pennywise101, which has no comment on it, but still thank you for the donation.
So basically, like I said earlier, even though we're not technically sprinting, we are still sprinting right now with the baby. We couldn't find any milk, so we went to go see Kiyomi. She says the barber shop people had a baby just now. Or like recently, not just now. That would be
on the scene.
Yeah, on the right here, that vending machine that has CC Lemon in is there's I think only 2 that have CC Lemon in Onamichi, and that's the big important one, which we'll get to at the time.
Shake the baby.
Shake the baby. He wants a lift.
Shake the baby.
Give us a shake, baby. Come on. He wants a shake. You can tell because he immediately like moves his head to the left, and it's really good. That's good. That's a good set. So we'll get like a 138. Oh, that's good. That makes up for the slow ones we had before because of not recognizing Upsy Daisy. I literally have not had Upsy Daisy in about 10, maybe 12 runs of this. So
Seems to be less common, at least, or at least you're not. I don't know if they have different priority or probability to show up.
I think the shake and lift have a bit higher priority, but I don't quote me on that. So for this one, this drunk Yakuza was relieving himself on the wall. I'm going to run towards him so that he actually like swings an attack and tries to hit us, because he has one of the highest dodge rates in the game. Probably because he's drunk. But by making him pull an attack out, we can just hit him with a flower pot and hit him with a flower pot again.
Alcohol makes you very powerful in this game.
Yeah.
Goes for Kiryu too.
Oh yeah, you'll be seeing that at certain points. Unfortunately, I don't have any beer to share out when we get to that point. That, I think, wouldn't be good. So basically, we're going to head back now that we've got some milk to go and see about putting Haruto down for the night. You'll see these things sparking on the side there. They're little collectibles. They're like little pieces of driftwood that appear like on the side. We don't need them in the run. Money, for the most part, is not an issue. You start with 50k. You don't need any more than that. But let's just say the cutscene with Haruto is way more crazier than what you just saw. So please get those donations in because you do want to see it. It's really crazy.
Terrific. I think it kind of tops the list of inappropriate things you can do with a baby.
Oh yeah. So I'm sticking to the right-hand side of this because you see on the minimap at the bottom left, there's those 3 triangles. If you go close to them, then you will actually get into a forced fight. When it's the same with the 3 that are on the dock, that one's a bit more forgiving. This is actually the quickest way to go to get to Kiyomi's bar anyway. You'll be seeing me take it a lot. But yeah, certain points...
Except when you take the wrong taxi.
There's basically... Vehicles can go around Kamurocho, I think, since Yakuza 5. I don't think they were in 4. And you can, in this one, have taxi spawns, which are really, really strong. Cutscene there, Nagamo turns up, kind of... Nagamo hates us for some reason. We got the face of a Yakuza, basically, and he kind of knows being a Yakuza himself. And he just doesn't like us hanging around Kiyomi. He secretly, not secret at all, is in love with Kiyomi. He blurts that out every opportunity he gets. He's kind of like the comic relief, feel-good side character who we'll get into a few fights with. You can see on the minimap there is actually a moving taxi. That's one of them. It wouldn't have helped here because obviously we're right here next to the thing. Unfortunately, we're doing, because Ino found us a place to stay for the night because we didn't have a place to stay. We just came here because we're Kiryu and we don't think things through. To do Ino a favor, we're playing baseball.
This is like rushed decisions, the game, as far as Yakuza goes, because Kiryu he's very upset about a lot of things in this game.
Yep. Let's just say we threw the baseball bat at Nagamo. So Nagamo and his friends here, you'll recognize that guy if you've ever seen Battle Royale or the live-action Japanese, not Netflix, Death Note movies.
They're all kind of famous actors.
Yep. Yeah, they get a lot of famous. If you've ever watched Battle Royale, you're going to see a very famous actor later on. For the most part, this fight is a little rough. The Yuta and Matsunaga, who we've already beaten, have less defense. Oh, this is the long move, which actually I appreciate here because I need to take down Nagamo.
It gives a little more extra damage.
This is how you play baseball, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
With your fists.
There was a great cutscene that, yeah, just all hell broke loose. That's why we're fighting them. That was a bit of a rough fight. What you saw me do is you saw me do a run and then an attack. That's the quick attack that I purchased. It's reasonably broken at certain parts of the run. By the way, Haruto was just on the sideline giggling through the entirety of that. He absolutely loved watching that.
He's gonna grow up to be a good Yakuza later.
Yep.
Likes watching people get punched in the face.
Yep. But basically, Nagamo is part of the Hirose family. They're a subsidiary of the, I want to say the Masazoe family, who are also a subsidiary of the big
Sub-family of this area's main Yakuza clan.
Which is the Yomei Alliance. I might have that name slightly wrong, but I'm fairly certain it's the Yomei Alliance. Let's just call them Iwami Shipbuilding. Don't ask me why just yet. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No connection whatsoever.
Nope. I'm walking into a fence post because this man wouldn't get out of the way. Thank you. And we're literally about to hit the point where we were at the start of the game with the tutorial fight. So we've now finally gone full circle after about 30-35 minutes-ish. So
Nagamo round 4 line?
No, thankfully. Not yet. But that's the opening cutscene that you saw earlier. We go through the fight, we skip it, and then we meet this lovely gentleman. This is Masazoe. He basically instructed Nagamo to get collections on Kiyomi's bar here. However, Nagamo doesn't want to do that because he loves Kiyomi. So they've gone to make an example out of him. I bought the wrong CC lemon in the wrong place. That's fine, I guess.
It's fine.
I still have it good. So let's go run off with this CC lemon in hand and then drink it in a little bit. You can do this with certain points, like I said. This actually helps a lot. Actually, I could probably drink this one now because we don't need it to last too long. When I mentioned earlier that most fights have a QT that you have to sit through, I might not be able to take it through this cutscene actually because it's the Troubler one. Dude turns up, Troubler is now in Onamichi. Simple as. We now have like a bit more content here. We passed something as well that's going to become very important towards the end of the run, which if I miss that, we're going to lose like 5 minutes. So I'm doing my very best to actually remember that. But we find here Masazoe is trying to make an example of Nagamo, and of course, being Kiryu.
He's gonna make an example of him.
Yes.
Basically.
So when I said earlier that most of the fights have like a mid-fight QTE, Masazoe does. We don't want to see it.
Yeah.
So
it's not based on his health like the others.
with Masazoe, it's actually based on his allies. We do not want to kill all his allies, and having that guy on 1 HP is bad.
Yeah,
I really want to move away from him because Masazoe's mid-fight QTE, nice dodge, actually revives all the other enemies. And you really don't want that. That's bad.
Once you kill all of his allies, he's gonna try and revive all of them.
I'm going to try and delay it with an extreme heat cutscene. Yes, nice one. This set of QTEs is always the same. That was an awful Masazoe fight. If I had dropped that at all, or we'd had the fast one, we wouldn't have had enough damage to stop the QTE, and then everyone would have gotten up again.
You got him before you got him up. That's the important thing.
Yeah, this run does have a little bit of routing on the fly sometimes, like if the AI does things, and it's a lot more free-flowing, so there's a lot more opportunity to mess things up a little bit. It's not as smooth as, say, Yakuza 0, where I can predictably manipulate the AI to the points that I want them to.
The fights are very hard to get consistent just because the AI has the tendency to sometimes just play defensive and then you can't get them together with the group.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the CC Lemon memes will stop in the next game that's coming out on August 28th, which is Yakuza Kiwami 2, because unfortunately, CC Lemon no longer gives damage. It gives experience instead, which, great. You'll see the map is slightly unloaded here. That happens. Unfortunately,
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yep. We unfortunately can't use it to go out of bounds or anything. The Yakuza games are very good at keeping you in bounds. There's certain exceptions to the rule. I hate to mention it. Yakuza Dead Souls, the kind of dark sheep of the family.
It's the best game in the series.
You dare! Don't you dare!
No, he's
Don't
right,
you start this. No, Yakuza Dead Souls is a third-person zombie shoot-'em-up spin-off in the series. It's actually okay. It's really good in the speedrun because you kind of just finish it fast.
Very good forklift simulator too.
Yep. But basically, that game has the weirdest little short teleport feature because there's like so many zombies that the collision kind of pushes you out of them, but it's so precise to kind of try and like pull off that it's just not viable. So it's a little weird. There is slight teleportation in certain Yakuza games, but it's just not viable in the slightest. So basically, we went and sorted out the problem of Masazoe's lot going after Nagamo's lot in the bar that they own. And we went back and got Haruto, so we can go back and sleep for the night. The other guy that you saw there was Takashiro we didn't see earlier? One of them. But we basically saw the last of Nagamo's crew. We haven't seen Patriarch Hirose yet. We'll be seeing him very soon in a cutscene very briefly. Yeah. You'll recognize who his actor is then.
We'll see him more up close later.
Oh, yes.
I want to quickly remind every viewer that we are getting close on the Haruto cutscene incentive. So you should get in those donations. I know it's early in the morning, but you still can do something really good and see an amazing cutscene.
Yeah, it's very much worth it.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I know we have karaoke going on as well. Karaoke will happen no matter what. But we really want to see that cutscene. We really, really want to see that cutscene.
Who's winning the karaoke bid war now?
That's a good question, actually.
Right now it's Tonight,
Nice.
followed by Today's a Diamond, and Hans is quite far away.
It's curious because I'm not sure if many people have heard Hans, because Hans is a song that's only available in Premium Adventure Plus. If you haven't actually if you haven't actually like gone to karaoke in like Premium Adventure Plus or I think New Game Plus, I might be wrong on that though, you'll find there's a brand new song in there called Hands. It's absolutely massive. It's like about 4 or 5 minutes long. So, also just to shout out, I won't be singing over Kiryu's amazing voice. I'm not karaoke man, don't worry. But you'll still get the actual karaoke, and I'll have Kiryu sing the karaoke because I wouldn't ruin that. I would not ruin that. So we basically came back here to ask about Haruka, and all of these guys basically kind of go, Haruka? Who's that? Never heard her before.
They're not very good at pretending not to know things.
Yeah, they're pure straight out lying, and we kind of know it. The game doesn't even try and hide it. So we're kind of locked into this little section here where we have to get across to the Ryunan Shrine, which is at the top left of the map. Ahead of us, you can see there's like certain fights. You can do these fights and move ahead, but there's no quicker route than the actual intended route, because most of the streets, as you can see ahead of us, are actually blocked off either by dudes or by cars. So there's no actual way to get past them. We'll be getting into a fight in a second, which is why, again, trying to get out this CC Lemon buff for as long as possible is so important. You can clip onto the side of objects and walls like that, basically physical objects. It's kind of like the game's way of kind of like keeping you away from walls. It happens a few times. It's unfortunate if it does, because you do stop. Bike strats. I went over.
Yeah,
that's fine, because they... Yep, don't walk away. Nice. That guy at the back has a massive tendency to walk away. He hates being close, because he sees you coming with a bike. He's the only sensible person in that group who sees a bike and goes, nope, not being near that.
You've got to be sorry for any cyclists that have to live in Japan, especially when they kill you.
Just lucky the bike didn't explode when it ran over. And
This was a nice quiet town till Kiryu came along. Actually, like, that shopping center that we just fought in, you won't see it during the run, but there's a ladder on the side that you can go up to the top for when you're in a fight, and on the roof is a gun. Just a gun, hanging out.
gun lying around on the roof.
Yeah. Not sure why, just it's there. But we basically get to Ryunan Shrine. We have a little bit of a heart-to-heart with Kiyomi. She's going to look after Haruto for a bit while we go back and apologize to everybody else for, you know, kind of butting our head in where it doesn't belong with Masazoe. What I just skipped there was a sub-story. There are 4 sub-stories that will interrupt us during this run. We don't want to accept any of them. If you accept any sub-story, you will lose about 1.5 to 2 minutes. And we're going to make our first deviation from CC Lemon, because this is the... when it loads. Hello.
When you get the prompt, you kind of need to be phasing it properly, otherwise it doesn't like to show up.
This is the closest attack buff. You'll see at the top left. This is Shoryu Beer. Again, sorry, I don't have any beer turned up. You'll see at the top left is now a 24. Shoryu Beer isn't as strong as CC Lemon, and it has a hit count. So it's not based on time, it's based on how many hits you get off. So obviously it's not for long-term use. But we basically come here and apologize to the guy. He's going to apologize to Matsunaga. He's building a model of the Yamato that definitely isn't important.
Not foreshadowing at all.
Oh. For this one, for Naoto and Yuta, I'm going to grab this chair because halfway through the fight, it's going to get broken. Naoto has more HP in his tank here. I kind of wanted to hit him, but he dodged, which is unfortunate. But he's going to just drop in, fall down. Yuta's pretty much done. I still want one of these if possible because they're more useful. Naoto took some damage, and yeah, he blocked, which is unfortunate. I'm not going for a bar stall because actually I am.
I guess we're going for a bar stall.
Yes, I am.
Kind of wish I could
right in the face.
I love doing that. It's awesome. So now we've like knocked some sense into them, and they're kind of like starting to see the error of their ways. But Matsunaga has gone to apologize directly to Masazoe and a guy called Koshimizu. Koshimizu is basically one of the highest Yakuza in the Yomei Alliance. Want to drink this here because, oh hey look, there's a bunch of guys.
There's a bunch of guys over there who need some CC Lemon.
Including Masazoe for the second time. Again, same mid-fight QTE rules apply. We don't want to beat everybody else. But guess what's just off screen here? It's a bike.
Conveniently placed bike for a large horde of enemies.
To see just how much damage this does. Unfortunately, got a guard in at the last minute. Everybody is dodging a lot today. That's kind of a shame. You know what? I'm going to shrink. I can build it back up for the next time I need it anyway. So, as of the next chapter, this isn't the safest thing to do in a fight. Enemies will start to guard our extreme heat attacks and our extreme heat QTEs, so we're going to have to mix it up with a few strong attacks at times. So if you start hearing me, and there's Koshimizu on the left there, you'll see him a bit later on. If you beat Takeshi on the left. So yeah, if you've ever seen... if you've ever seen Beat Takeshi in Battle Royale or one of numerous amazing films that he's in this game. Again, fully mocap and everything. He's kind of the crazy patriarch. He's like, you know, I'm silly, I'm wacky, etc., etc. But as you can probably imagine, anything with Beat Takeshi is in is going to get real serious real fast.
Not really the kind of character you hire to make it seem like he's not a major player.
Yep. And so Nagamo comes along and basically sees us as his Aniki, his kind of blood brother, his Kyodai. And basically he's now in love with us because, yes, I'm not quite sure why, but the 3 beatings that we've given him so far, they were enough. Finally.
He really likes when you punch people.
Yes. I think now would be a good time if you've got any messages.
Yeah, I would like to take the time to thank the city of Malmö for supporting the event and allowing us to come to this amazing hotel for the very first time. Thank you, Malmö.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. So for this one, unfortunately, you're going to have a bit more time in a second because we've got a mini game that we have to go through that we can't skip. It's one of the unfortunate changes to the new engine. Previously, if you had a minigame in, like, say, Yakuza 0, you have 2 forced karaoke points. You can actually skip those, which I guess isn't a good thing, because you're skipping karaoke. But we're going to have a Shore You beer for the whole point of the fact that it won't run out of time through this whole extended period, but CC Lemon will. These guys can kind of be a pain. Hopefully they stay together. Nice. So you can see it went down from 24 to 22. In the next minigame that we're about to do, that's new to this game, it's not actually going to go down at all. This is what we call the clan creator. That guy decked out on the floor is Joe. Joe's a pain in the backside. This isn't important, but to quickly kind of sum up, I can't remember if it's Joe's sister or the guy behind him's sister gets taken by this gang called Justice. To kind of bring it up to speed, Justice is a gang formed by
Wrestlers.
NJPW, I think is the acronym, the new Japanese pro wrestlers, featuring, again, some famous Japanese pro wrestlers, like Yano Toru, Okada, and basically it's a massive kind of like, I don't know if you call this an RTS, it kind of is similar to it, but it's not. But basically you can see, like, we have a top-down view, we have a marker here.
Send a lot of dudes at the enemy dudes.
I'm going to deploy this guy first. He has a skill called Essence of Healing. He's going to go and he can basically heal people. The leaders on the right here, you get 6 leaders, and then depending on which leaders you have, depends on which people you can send out. You got light like this, heavy like this, which are like this guy, and then you got your leaders. Joe here, despite being decked out, actually has one of the best skills at the start here. We're actually going to, potentially foolishly, send him right towards the boss along with a whole bunch of other people, because Joe here actually has ultimate dropkick. We want him to hit this guy. He just got hit, he might turn around. This way. Nah, he turned around. That sucks. So now I'm just going to spam dudes.
That's a large time loss.
If it's still above a 410, yeah, that's fine. Average is about a 422-ish. No, best is a 422. Average is about a 418. So I lost about 4 seconds. We get this nice cutscene. So if you have time for any more messages, that'd be good.
Definitely. I would like to remind everyone that there's a prize from Elgato. it's one of our sponsors actually. They're supporting ESA for the Path 3 events. This year with 4 streaming pods on the back of the main streaming room, allowing attendees to stay connected with their community and bring their community as a part of ESA. Currently you can win an Elgato HD 60S, that's a capture card. So if you get in those donations, like a minimum $10 donation for that, you can win the capture card. Also, I would like to remind everyone that the incentive is still going on for the cutscene later on in the game. So you can definitely put your donation towards this.
Yep. That was a quick, brief showing of like kind of guns.
They kill people.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't have a weapon, you can shoot through their guard, so even if they guard, it doesn't matter. It's the same kind of concept with knives as well. And that also applies to us. So if Kiryu is holding a weapon, he can kind of block as long as he has durability on the weapon. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. But basically, you'll very, very briefly see the wrestlers there. And they're gone. That's the last time you see them in this run. Unfortunately, this isn't the last time you'll see Joe in this run. He's going to pull us away in the next chapter, I believe, which is a pain in the backside.
Gonna be like, hey, we made Clan Creator for the other area too. Have fun.
Yeah, we know you want to do it. Apparently, it's way improved in the next one, so I'm looking forward to that.
Saying.
I guess I'll take the time to say that with most people like ask, I think one of the most common questions is, what's the best way to start the Yakuza series? Honestly, most of the games are self-contained. Like even 6 being the end is self-contained. There's like quite a few throwbacks, but
They also
for the
do the
most parts-
large recap, don't they?
yes. Oh, this sub-story. Do not hit yes to this. I'm going to intentionally take my time and hit no here because this is one that will take about 3 minutes if we mess up.
But she's from the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking into the Yakuza series, it's Yakuza 0 is actually coming to PC at the start of next. I think it's August 2nd or something like that. So
August 1st, I think.
okay, so if you're interested by seeing this, it's quite cheap actually on Steam at the moment. So definitely pick that up. I definitely am.
I'm going crazy. Right, we're going to boost our vending machine drink here. Twice. That's fine, I guess. I feel like I'm missing something. I get this later, but I'll get this now, I guess. Something's off. I feel like I've just missed an upgrade. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. The important one is the vending machine upgrade anyway, and then getting some
Yes.
damage on.
Sprint damage and vending machine duration. Like the main 3 upgrades earlier in.
If I have missed something, I can grab it very quickly after. Oh, when you walk up into a prompt as well, you lose the ability to kind of like drink as well, etc. Kyomi wants to talk to us at the top of the roadway station, so we're going to go and speak to her. However, the guy who you haven't seen yet, Somiya, comes along and actually takes her away to a hotel. And obviously, we're going to go and get her back. This is going to cause the first of what we like to call kind of like dungeons in the Yakuza series. Every so often, you'll go to a place that you can't go to normally and sometimes can't return to, like we're about to. And it's one big, long segment of fighting, usually culminating in a boss fight. I think there's about 4 in this game. A lot of them come way later in the run. This one lasts about 10 minutes. Nagamo is obviously pretty shocked at that. We hatch a GTA-style plan to break in. Takeshi gives us the suggestion of, oh hey, why don't you wear balaclavas so that no one can tell who you are? And there he is.
It's about as well executed as it would be in GTA 2.
Yes. So we're going to go over to there.
Put on some ski masks and just walk through the main door.
Yep.
What could go wrong?
So one of the upgrades that I got was Collateral. Collateral makes your attacks against people other than the main person do more damage as well. So you can see that grabbing someone and then throwing them is super effective now against massive group of enemies. That's very good so far. Didn't mean to do that, but happens. I can build up my heat again. But yeah, people ask like what the best way to get into the Yakuza series is. If you can from the start, again, like Pop Tart said, Yakuza 0 is coming to Steam very soon, within the next like 2 weeks. which people have been asking for ages, and props to Sega. They've listened, they've gone, you know, here's Yakuza. Kiwami is also coming to PC, and hopefully the rest will come, provided they do well enough. So if you wanted to start the Yakuza series, there's like so many ways to get into Zero now. Everyone as well is getting a HD remaster on PS4 as well, currently announced for Japan, but not over here. Hopefully at some point, because there's been some promising comments made from the, I want to say the series producer, in interviews. So hopefully. But yeah, the Zero is out, the remake of 1 is out, the remake of 2 is out next month, Zero on PC is out next month. Hopefully the remasters for 3 to 5 will be out soon, obviously 6 is out. I'm going to leave this guy to Nagamura.
Yeah, Froob needs to make a judgment call if he wants to leave them to the AI, because sometimes they can just get stuck fighting them for a long time.
These guys we like to call large lads because they're large lads. They take more hits. We do not leave those to Nagamura.
Oh, because they just drop kick you all day and stun lock you.
Yeah, they have a massive tendency to drop kick. It's kind of annoying.
I can just not deal with them on their own most of the time.
Here's Nagamura. He did his job.
Yeah.
Great job, Nagamura.
He's trying his best.
Good. That's actually like, I'm gonna grab you, but fine. That's why I don't like use the big lads against each other. You can see how like little damage that did compared. I really want this attack buff to last as long as possible, and we've got an unskippable cutscene coming up here, which is gonna.
It's a good cutscene though. Like one of the best cutscenes in the game.
You're thinking of the next one. I'm thinking of this one. So basically, here's a dude. Just knocked Nagamura over, and in kind of like a typical Yakuza fashion, 3 of them are going to stay behind, Takashira, Naoto, and Yuta. We and Nagamura are going to head off. We've searched all the bottom floors, so the only place that Somiya could be is in the buff. I'm fairly certain that this next part is a reference to Ryuga Gotoku Ishin, which is the Japan-only released Yakuza Ishin, which features in the second chapter an amazing bathhouse scene. And it's an amazing game. Like,
very serious scene,
yeah, we played it recently. It's one of the most different Yakuza games, and it's superb. But
I like that this is the cutscene you can't skip.
yeah.
just buff guys in a sauna.
And so we're looking for Somiya, and is it this guy? This guy's great. It's not that guy. And so we're just going to throw him in the bath.
Good dialogue.
Most unfortunate person in all of Yakuza.
Yep. So there's one kind of mini-boss here. Like, most places will now start having mini-bosses. That guy in the middle, he's a massive pain in the backside. So we're actually going to, like, try and deal with him fast whilst everybody else is also dealing with us. A throw would be good. He's going to get up, and then I'm going to use my extreme heat while I still have damage, and hopefully hit him. Nice. I mix it up with a strong attack there. That's what we're going to start doing with bosses, beginning with the next boss. So again, we just want to quickly take care of guys. Running and kicking is really good.
Hit him.
Nice parry. I usually get the parry way later, but the parry can be really useful if, like, you miss a guy. Again, the ragdolls are really great in this game.
Especially when they use wear towels.
So, running theme of the game. Nagamura's an idiot. Nagamura runs into the sauna fully kitted out and realizes, oh, it's actually hot in here. Who would have guessed? And takes off his ski mask, and Somiya is in there. So we're going to chase after Somiya. One very important thing to note about Somiya real quick is his back. So Somiya is currently, I should have mentioned this earlier, Daigo, Majima, Saejima, some of the biggest Tojo executives are all in jail for this, like, ongoing thing that's happening in the plot. And Sugai and Somiya have kind of swept in and are trying to take the top. Somiya does not have a traditional Yakuza tattoo. A Yakuza tattoo kind of like signifies power and everything like that. Yeah. That's unfortunate.
We touched on it earlier that he kind of is of the mindset that Yakuza is changing and tattoos is one of those things that don't matter anymore.
A more modern Yakuza that doesn't require the old ways, like Kiryu's day, etc., etc. It's going reasonably well. He'll follow us when he's undazed. It's unfortunate these guys ran down here to deal with these, but we'll deal with them real quick, hopefully. Flying kicks. Now, interestingly, these bottles on the side, They're also an exception to the weapon rule. Good. They start off with one hit of blunt, and then they break, provided you don't use the heat attack. If you use the heat attack, they will instead just shatter. But if you use a normal attack instead, they break and become a bladed weapon. Now, there's a very possible soft lock point here, semi-soft lock. The trigger for this door sometimes doesn't load. Did this time. I don't know why. I think it's because you skipped the dialogue, but we basically have a quick one-on-one with Somia. Dialogue-wise, the Somia like puts forward that, you know, your days are numbered, but he still kind of really respects Kiryu. So we're gonna fight Somia.
In his undies.
Yep.
As you do.
Yep. He was in the sauna after all. At the start of this fight, I'm going to grab this lamp. Never mind, I'm going to grab the seat instead. The lamp would have been better to grab because these seats do more damage than the lamp. But I wanted to interrupt that animation because it can be kind of long. But you can see like how little damage it does compared to, say, this. It does way more.
And you can notice the difference it makes without having CC Lemon or any buffs.
Yes. So basically, halfway through this fight, he's going to start his extreme heat. Bosses, for the most part now, wait, because they have iframes. And of course you guard that. Kind of suspected you would. Okay, I managed to do my strong attack in time to get iframes myself before he interrupted me. Extreme heat, finish him off. Nice. Very nice. If you interrupt your extreme heat combo before you get to the end of the combo where you have to do the QTE, you will actually just end the enemy and don't have to do the QTE. I will accidentally do that QTE sometimes because sometimes you don't have kind of like an opportunity.
It's kind of hard to set it up at times.
Yes. So, massive plot dump. We go in and we find out that actually Kiyomi came willingly with Somia. They're actually having dinner. Kiyomi is actually Somia's ex-wife. They had a child together, currently in Somia's care. We also met with two other people. One of them is the head of Iwami Shipbuilding. We'll call him Kurisu, for reasons. Kurisu is a very legendary Yakuza name. We'll get into that in a bit. And we also met his son, who we'll call Iwao Jr. You're going to very quickly learn in this game that this game is Daddy Issues the game. Yeah. We will get into that way closer towards the end when there are massive plot exposition dumps. I think we're starting to get close to the point of the donation incentive. I'm not 100% sure, so if we've got any messages, that'd be good.
Yeah, we totally do. We've got a $25 donation from Nerd Named Ginger saying, "Hey Froob, best of luck from Seattle, Washington." Also, that donation goes towards the incentive, which puts it just under $300 from being met. It sounds like a lot, but it can be surely met. I'm really sure we can do that.
Hopefully.
Yep, I'm going to use taxi and go to West Shishido Street here, which is literally just outside of our apartment. You'll see me doing that sometimes. You'll see me doing it mostly with Haruto, because obviously we can't run as fast with Haruto. Hey, Joe. Go away, Joe. Thanks, Joe. That's not the end of Joe. Joe basically just goes and says, you know what would be such a coincidence if you would head over to Kamurocho and we did Clan Crate in Kamurocho. Fortunately, we don't have to do it, but we're back in Kamurocho. We're taking Yuta and Nagamo. They've never left. They've never really been to like a big city like Kamurocho, so they're kind of like really bewildered at the whole thing. We're going here because in the cutscene before, Kiyomi had an idea of who the father of Haruto might be. He's a guy called Tatsukawa. He's actually the best friend of Yuta behind us. And all we know is he came to Kamurocho to work as a host here. Big old Yakuza plot dump. Back in the very first Yakuza, Kiryu became friends with Kazuki and Yuya, who were the head hosts of a place called Stardust over on Tenkaichi Street. So our big idea is to go over there and see them, see what's going on in the city, because if he's ever worked as a host, they will know. But at first, Yuta's gonna get the... Ooh, that's a bad fight spawn.
Casually stroll past.
we're fine. Oh, not worried in the slightest. don't worry.
Sometimes they just take so long to trigger the fight that you can just run past them.
User's desperate to use the lube, but we basically go on that.
we're
Nagamo, will you move? But we get to Stardust, and we actually get thrown out by a Korean bouncer, which is actually very important. Basically, the Koreans have brought over Stardust, and we don't know why. And a stroke of luck, we end up running into Yuya on the street. And basically, this guy, Jungi Han, he looks like he'd fit into a modern-day Final Fantasy. If you're talking about banging fight themes, just you wait. But basically, he comes over with a bouncer who threw us out and kind of turns his face into grilled meat. And he basically offers us an invitation to go to Stardust to talk things out so we can go and find out where Tatsukawa is. He is the Koreans who are taking over Stardust. They've taken over some property in Kamurocho. They're called the Jingwon Mafia. I'm not going to say too much about them because they are the major plot point in Yakuza 2, which is obviously coming out in the remake next month. But basically, the Jingwon never forgive and the Jingwon never forget. That's all I'll say. And basically, here's a bunch of Korean dudes waiting for us. There's a lot. We're going to run to the left. We're going to go and grab one of these bikes. And there's like 3 mini sub-bosses that we're going to try and be the priority to take out. Pretty good. One of the sub-bosses there actually has an almost infinite combo. Sometimes if your weapon breaks in the middle of a combo, you still do the weapon attack like that.
Love the physics and how brittle everything is in this game. You just run into a scooter and it explodes.
I'd like to think it's less that everything's really brittle and more just Kiryu is ungodly strong.
Yep.
Despite being like 50-something.
Like 47 in this, I think.
Oh, okay. That's
something like that, yeah. For the most part, NPCs in this new engine are actually really good. Sometimes they won't, like, help you too much, but for the most part, they actually help you a lot. It's really surprising.
Yeah, like the AI is a lot more helpful than they were in the past games.
Yeah. So we're gonna head over to Stardust now. You can see as well, now that we've upgraded the length of the CC11, just how much longer it's actually lasting. But a whole bunch of more dudes come by, so Nagamo basically goes, I'll be the hero and I'll stay behind. So us and Yuta are going to go to Stardust. We find out that Jungi Han has basically retrofitted the basement into like a massive pleasure club with its own boxing ring. We decide we're not going to fight in an enemy's ring. Yuta steps in for us. He gets beat up, we fight. Here's an amazing sound. So this is one of the most amazing tracks in the game. Jungi Han here actually has a high dodge rate, a high block rate like that. He also has a small counter that we're hoping not to hit. You are blocking. Yep. That grab right there, that can grab through a lot of stuff. I'm intentionally waiting on my extreme heat, so I've done a bit of damage. 4. So that activates his mid-fight QT, which basically just starts his extreme heat. Hopefully I have enough time to get one last combo off. Doesn't dodge. Nice. That's Jungi Han. That's a fight, an example of how a fight can go without weapons. That was a pretty good fight, for the most part.
Pretty good round 1.
Yep. Yeah. Running theme is that there are many multiple rounds. There's
this
only
game in particular.
Yes.
We encounter a lot of the bosses.
There's only
Mostly it's the final bosses you only fight once.
and Akiyama. There's only 3 bosses that you only fight once, one of which is being Akiyama, and the other 2 are literally right at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So I've got time for any messages.
Yeah, as we all know, breakfast is probably coming up for most people watching right now. And what is the best thing to have for breakfast? Obviously pizza. So I would like to thank Domino's Pizza, who is supporting this event with free pizza for all volunteers twice a day. But just because you don't volunteer does not mean you will miss out, because we also have a promotional offer which anyone can use at any of the Swedish restaurants for a 20% discount. You just need to cite the ESA 2018 code and you'll get 20% off your price. So head out there and get Domino's for breakfast.
Nothing like Domino's and Red Bull for breakfast.
But yeah, Jugi Han basically told us that he knows where Tatsukawa lives. He did used to work for Stardust, but then left. We're going to go over there now, where Nagamo and Yuta have gone ahead to. And if we have an unlucky fight spawn here, it's not too bad because it's one of the area triggers rather than a door trigger. The good old, one of the side activities that we just passed up there was the cat cafe. You can find cats around Kamurocho and Onomichi and bring them back. But we basically go to Tatsukawa's home and find that the guy's dead. Somebody's killed him.
It's a dead end, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, the trophy names are on point.
God damn it, Jimmy Lowe.
Ah, Jimmy Lowe. We'll get into Jimmy Lowe in good time.
Well, someone else got into him first. Technically.
But basically, we kind of run into a little bit of a dead end, and we're gonna go. We're gonna go back to Onomichi, or have I got my chapters mixed up?
Yeah, we'll find out in a few seconds.
I'll remember when we get here, I promise.
Yeah,
Oh, I think we don't.
we go back, though.
I don't.
We're
I
split
speedrun
between
this
them.
game, I promise.
Well, this has been a while since you played casual. It's okay.
Oh no, is this the head fight? Oh, it's the head fight. No, we stay here. This is the leisure one. Yeah. Yeah, I know where I am now. I'd say we've got... That's a bad fight spawn. I'm just going to despawn that real quick.
I think it was half coordinated was the one who started doing that during the run, using the vending machines, right?
I'm not sure if he started doing it, but he had a hilarious glitch where he got into a fight at the same time, and the title card when he went up to the vending machine was like Mafia, so it looked like you were fighting a vending machine. So shout outs to Half for that, because that was fantastic. I actually have some strats adopted from watching his... Oh hey, here's Joe. Joe takes us away. Thanks, Joe. I was actually I want to shout out to Half, because Half is... He's an amazing guy, much like Kanara said yesterday during his near run. I watched his, obviously, any percent run, New Game Plus Legend run for verification stuff, and I actually picked out a few fight strats that, despite being different because we don't have a move called the Tiger Drop, which it's powerful in this, but just not as powerful as, say, in Yakuza 0. It's still really good, but Half, watching his run, actually showed me some really good strategies for some fights, and also Half is just a really amazing guy. So massive shout outs to Half.
He's made up a lot of good strats and stuff in general.
Yeah. So we're going to go into Serena. Obviously, Yuta and Nagamo are taking the death of their friend pretty badly. We're going to go and find Akiyama. We're going to go smartly back to the place where the Sayal Triad found him, down in the sewer, question mark?
Maybe?
When the Sayal Triad found us with Akiyama earlier, that was kind of our fault. They were kind of following us, which... Kiryu's never been the best at subtlety.
Like, half of the first game's premise is that he's supposed to try and stay undercover, but the first thing he does is, cause a stir with literally everyone he could possibly cause a stir with.
Pretty much.
Can I chime in really quickly?
Absolutely, go ahead.
We've got an anonymous $200 donation saying, let's get this Flying Haruto cutscene.
Thank
And
you very much.
if you guys do stuff like that, we will definitely get this. We only need about $100 right now, so let's go.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for everybody who's supporting ESA, who's getting the word out to their friends, family, people watching. Everything is greatly appreciated. And thank you all for supporting us, raising money for Save the Children.
You're supposed to plug the sponsors.
So, hey, guess what? The Sayal Triad, who knew where Akiyama were, are lying in wait. Act surprised. So, this fight can be slightly annoying. We're going to try and drag them to the right, where we did with Ed earlier. One guy is probably going to get left behind. One hit is amazing and is absolutely perfect. That does not happen often. 2 hits is usually what happens. 3 hits, you're messed up. Because usually the AI isn't that bad, but one guy at the back can walk off. For some reason, somehow, the entrance that is closest to the next story point is blocked off behind us. So we're going to go up this ladder real quick. I think it's because there's actually a story trigger here where we're going to speak to Akiyama. Oh, excuse me. I do apologize if you hear me like take a sharp intake of breath. My body is awful. I have a sliding gate hiatus hernia here that makes breathing kind of hard at times. So I apologize if anything like that happens. But basically, we're getting in contact with Akiyama. We have to speak to some of the homeless guys to get him in contact with us. Kiryu's big plan is to speak to Ed, the Triad, because there was basically a big suspicion that the Triad are the ones that done Tatsukawa in. That should be enough attack buff. I don't need to get another CC Lemon. Making up for my accidental going back up the ladder cough. Ooh, that guy turning there he might have been a problem, but that's fine. If you like stick to this wall here, for some reason, it's actually like kind of safe. We're forced into a walk here, like I'm holding run, we're forced into a walk. Kiryu actually being subtle this time notices that he's being followed. So decides to go and deal with it down this side alleyway.
Just for a moment so he can get somewhere where he can punch them more easily.
Yeah.
Because that's always stopped him before, is finding a good place to punch them.
If we need a backup CC Lemon, there's one there. We only need it for this fight. Yes. I'm just trying to think what happens next. Because next is Joel, unfortunately. So here's some mysterious assassins. Bike strats.
Mysterious assassins.
Oh, bikes were a little more durable in the previous Yakuza games because when you broke them, you then got the wheel. That was a little lucky. This one could be a problem with this guy, but he's playing nice today. The guy closest to you, for some reason, likes to run around really fast behind you. Really good. Not sure why. Unfortunately, this is a big old sub-story, and again, a bit of product placement that we can't skip by. So if we have any, of our partners that we can
plug the sponsors.
Yeah.
Buy Red Bull.
Froob, you have to plug the sponsors.
Am I doing it? Okay.
Can I put in a quick donation?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
We got another $100 donation from Narp.
Yes.
Saying, go fast, Speedman. We have not reached the donation incentive quite yet, but we're getting really close. So get in all those donations. Let's go.
How much do we need to hit it?
We need to just about $70 right now.
Can make that. No problem. Should be good.
Good luck, everyone. Again, this is something that you definitely want to see. It's absolutely amazing.
Things you can do with your baby at home.
No.
We do not endorse this.
No.
Maybe you don't.
Don't know who you are anymore. Actually, I do want to take a special moment to shout out Sloth here. He's a good friend of mine. He saved my bacon multiple times this week.
You should have just read the fucking identity card.
Listen. I may have accidentally forgot to bring my PS4, which was the thing that may have caused Tech and Plax to have a mini heart attack. But and Sloth also put me up for a few days this week. Remember how I said my body is a bit messed up? Let me tell you the tale about my left foot, which is currently, that's a bad fight spawn. We're going to take a little bit of a roundabout direct way around here. My left foot, I made a promise after last year's ESA because I really want to say thank you to ESA for last year giving me a chance and for this year also giving me a chance with my kind of niche runs and also for giving me a chance with like the volunteering this year. This is why sprint is important. Sprint level 3 is only just enough to get to Serena. If you run out of sprint, this happens. But like a massive shout out to ESA for supporting me, for allowing me to do my stuff, and for allowing us to bring you really good speedrun content for a really great cause. And again, it would not be possible without our partners. So again, thanks to all of our partners. But basically, in terms of my body, my left foot, I decided to make a promise after last year that I wouldn't be as physically unfit as I was. You can see that hasn't gone too well. My left foot currently is semi-broken, has plantar fasciitis, which basically means the shock absorber at the bottom of your foot is not working. So if I put any pressure on the bottom of my foot, I get an intense pain. I might have a slight infection in my foot since starting to come here this week because I was told by the doctors, don't go to Sweden. And I was like, I'm going to Sweden. And my doctor looked at me and literally just went, so, yeah. So I want to thank a massive shout out to Sloth, who's bailed me out numerous occasions.
Oh, and you kind of managed to get there yourself too.
Yeah. Yes. So we're here at the Star Trad HQ. We're literally walking in the front door. Here for a little bit of speed tech. Again, we can't run. We want to get in front of Akiyama so that after this the conversation, he will run forward. He'll push us forward a little bit, and he'll get to the point earlier, which will make the trigger happen earlier. So that was actually really good. It's really easy to mess this bit up. It's somewhat... There's a weird little bit coming up here. This is now a new mini dungeon. The balaclavas have come out, despite the fact that Kiri's been wearing this suit for like the past 20, 30 years.
It's like the one guy who always wears the same outfit. It's like, oh, he has a balaclava, no one's gonna notice.
Like, there's no point in the balaclava, they can tell from the suit.
Can I have a quick read?
Go right ahead.
We've got 2 donations. We've got an anonymous $50 donation going directly towards the incentive. And we've got a $28 donation from someone special, I think. It's half coordinated, saying, thanks for the shoutouts. Thanks for the shoutouts. Let's have Hero to soar. And with that donation, the incentive actually got met.
Nice. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Half, as well. Very appreciate it. So this guy is menacing looking chef. He's actually a mini boss. It might be a bit quicker to fight him because there's a bin in the corner. I haven't tested this. A friend of mine would hate if I didn't mention the fact that Akiyama is about to dab.
This is just a casual dab from Akiyama.
He also told me to dab in my run. No.
Another one?
For the kids. For the kids. I've never dabbed in my life.
It's
I
always
feel
a
shame.
first.
I'm going home after this. I feel so ashamed now. Fortunately, Akiyama for some reason turns in a circle here so we can walk past him real quick. I feel so dirty now.
Embrace the meme.
Ice Cream will be so proud of you right now.
Yeah. So we're going to go through here. Akiyama says don't get caught. Akiyama gets caught. I'm going to use the charge attack that I did earlier to... Ooh. I'm down on damage a bit. I need to rectify that. That's interesting. The chef is not dead. The chef comes back, or he actually comes to us the first time. This is why we're kind of debating whether it's faster or not to kind of fight him the first time. Ideally, Akiyama will deal with that guy, but it doesn't look like he is. Thanks,
because
Akiyama.
they're both stuck behind the big cattle.
Ideally enough, you can like have Akiyama like deal with him. It doesn't happen very often, but then you can kind of like be at this door where this cutscene will trigger immediately. An unskippable cutscene. Akiyama's going to deal with this guy, and we're going to have to go off on our own. By the way, Akiyama just said our name.
Yeah.
Right next to a guard. Good balaclava. We're going to quickly go across here. I'm just trying to quickly think in my head about supplementing some of my upgrades, considering I'm a little down on damage. So if you've got time for any messages, now would be a great time.
Yeah, we've got a lot of donations in the last minutes before the incentive actually got met. So thank you to all the donators for that. For example, we got an anonymous $10 donation.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
An anonymous $10. What happened to all the others?
Yeah, you still have time to read some more if you want. Because the chef is back and he's still trying to kill us. We're going good time here, actually. The interesting thing is I can tell how well we're doing time-wise via the length of the CC Lemon buff. Still having it here is very good. I wanted to grab a chair. Wait, excuse you. I wanted to grab this chair because the chair does a little more damage than the other things in the room. But having the CC Lemon buff still here is basically means you're going pretty fast. Probably faster than the average, which is nice. Obviously, if you don't have vending machine level 3, you won't have it at this point. Another unskippable cutscene. Akiyama is going to let the other two up. That's why, for some reason, they stayed outside and us two went inside. Not quite sure. Video games.
It's a perfect plan, don't question it.
Yeah. Just video games. They only have one set of clothes in Kamurocho, by the way. At least Akiyama changes up his outfit. So I said a little earlier that you wouldn't be hearing much of Ed's theme. It's coming back. You're going to hear way more of Ed's theme. It's actually on the OST called Bonds, which is actually a massive plot point for the Zio Trad themselves and for, obviously, Yakuza 6 as a whole. You're not the guy who wants to dropkick. It was this big lad. Because he has a massive HP bar. He drop kicks often. He knocks us out of our combos. He knocks us over. Gets rid of our weapon. Kicks tables into us. Having a lot of people come over, actually, is really good so far.
A lot of collateral damage.
Yes. Usually they all stay on the right where our allies are. And again, because we're in a restaurant and a load of chairs, we're going to grab chairs and throw them. For the most part, obviously, big guy. For the most part, in the Yakuza games, you'll find something that is incredibly broken. With regards to Yakuza 0, there's an upgrade in Kiryu's Beast Chain that you get very early on called Golden Fist. When you have more heat and you're maxed out, your damage will be so exponential, any percent strats work on Legend. Like, you can just take them into Legend. I don't recommend it. But
You're gonna die a lot faster, but it works.
But it just works. It's so much damage. Now, this is why I love Ed. Look at this noble, nimble man.
It's a very majestic monkey.
With his karambit knife from...
CSGO Lotto.
But we're going to give Ed a little bit of a fear of chairs. You can see how little damage we're doing now without CC Lemon. You cannot have the buff last this long, unfortunately, so you'll never have it. We're just going to suplex Ed off the roof. And again, like I said earlier, with the Master fight, we want to wait so that we can stagger him. He's going to go into his extreme heat with this hit. And we want to wait, because if we don't wait, he's going to grab us and stab us in the back with his karambit knife. But that's perfect timed.
I'm not sure why he doesn't hit you.
That's early.
If it's because Kiryu has like armor in the beginning when he doesn't move or not.
Yeah, he has a little bit of iframes. Notice my HP. Notice how low that's getting. We've hit the point of the run where we're going to start to die if we're not careful. I will be getting health and defense upgrades. Not until way later. So...
Why we got here, that's why we got the buns.
Yep. We have the next chapter. Oh, chat, you're going to love the next chapter. The next chapter, there is an enemy that can kill us in one hit. So...
This is like a tribute to Twitch.
Potentially in the next chapter, I'll wait and actually get some defense upgrades. This is bad. Okay. Okay, that's good. I moved away. So you can see the screen's gotten a little darker because we've obviously taken a little bit of damage. Big guy's going to hit me. I can tell he wants to drop kick me. Thank you, Akiyama. Okay, Ed fight, I guess.
It looks okay.
Okay, massive plot exposition dump.
Again.
We get introduced to a guy called Big Lo. He speaks Chinese in front of us, and actually... Oh, Masazori's here as well. He speaks Chinese in front of us, and interestingly enough, and not subtly, Yuta understands it. And that's a big plot point for later. The title of the chapter is called Heihaizi. I might be wrong on my definition of this, but I think it's an old law that basically said that Chinese families could only have one child. I think, like, they couldn't have a second child. So the Heihaizi were mostly, like, I think illegally shipped out, which is going to be a big plot point later. Not for reasons that I definitely didn't just mention. Cough.
There's nothing to do with him being able to speak Chinese.
Nope. But we basically go and find out that from Big Lo, they've killed... I think they were the ones... I think it was Ed who killed Tatsukawa in retaliation because the Tojo have killed his son, Jimmy Lo. There's Somiya. He opens a bottle on somebody's head. It's the nice, easy way of opening a bottle. Don't recommend it.
Might spill a bit.
A little bit. The Yakuza aren't nice people. Who would have guessed? If we have time for any messages, now would be a good time.
Yeah, we've got a $10.50 donation from Akiyama Dab saying,
Ice cream.
saying, proud of you, Frobo. Good luck on the run.
That would be the person who actually told me to do that, so thank you, Ice Cream. I want you to know how much that hurt. So, Somi is here. I can't remember why exactly he found out about this meeting, but Somi is here. Somi is going to come with us, and he's going to be our NPC escort. Obviously, again, we're going to have some CC Lemon. I'm going to, if I can open my menu, because this is a long load. Hello. I'm going to attempt, I don't need sprint, I'm going to attempt to get one more vending machine drink, and then, do I get heat actions? Yeah. So I'm going to get to 130. This will allow me to get some heat actions. 30. Extreme heat mode, heat rush. This extends it to 8 hits. I'm going to not get any of that, and then I'm going to pump it all into attack.
Don't need defense if you don't get hit.
I'm going to do a tiny bit of defense because we are in a marathon. Just in case. And of course, CC Lemon. I'll have a drink of my CC Lemon in a bit. What did you think of your CC Lemons?
It's
It was
bad.
good.
It's not bad.
It reminds me of something, but I can't remember what. And don't say lemon.
I was going to say lemonade. You know me a little too well.
Don't hit the wrong taxi.
East Taiha Boulevard. Thank you. This is one of the taxis that we actually change up on the run because this one is right next to the actual point. Pink Street, the one that we usually use to go down here, is okay, but we would have to walk for like a good 10-20 seconds. So I usually forget this one.
There's not that many things that you tend to get wrong in run. It's like mostly the taxi is probably the one that you kind of go to the wrong one and you forgot to poem some once, but other than that, it's been very consistent.
Yep. This is Shangri-La. It's an old soapland. You're going to see that it's a little destroyed. That is thanks to Kiryu and Majima back in Yakuza 1. Won't go into the details of that. You'll have to find out yourself. But basically, we're meeting Bigelow here. He doesn't know that we're actually bringing along the second in command of the people who actually killed his son and they're at war with. Could this man die? Thank you, Somia. So, we should probably mention this. There's a mystery down here. A very, very big mystery. And you need a two-handed weapon to break these walls. The collision detection is weird.
Just the dungeon master, don't worry about it.
So, despite the fact that this place has been broken for multiple years, say hello to Hangman.
Dungeon master.
I don't think there's anyone who can tell you why there's a leather-clad man in axeless chaps in the bottom of Shangri-La. Just ignore that for a second, shall we?
Yeah, until he comes back.
Yeah. So he's going to throw rocks at us. We're going to want to not fall down by obviously spamming the QTE. It will cause an extra fight that we don't have to do. Kick that guy. Kick that guy. Grab this. Hit this guy. These guys act like zombies as well, so they have like really high stagger.
I don't know what this entire area is supposed to be, to be honest.
Well, it used to be the Soapland from Yakuza 1.
Well, I mean, why is everyone in here zombies, and why is there a big gimp?
Don't know. Get hit by that one, and then we should be able to recover quick enough to get past that. Nice. So the reason why we don't fight Hangman, because we have to come back all the way around, is because Hangman grabs Somia.
Scripted fight afterwards. So you just go fighting him early just means you get an extra fight.
So there's a barrel to the right. You're going to see how powerful barrels are at this point with CC Lemon now that I've done a little supplementary attack buff.
This is one of the scariest bosses in the game because he hits really hard compared to all the other bosses.
If this guy gets me in a combo, he can kill me in one hit. The power of Hangman. And there is no lore as to why he's down here. He's just down here. He headbutts a wall and creates the way to go.
Honestly, it's probably best not to ask why a man dressed like that is anywhere, to be honest.
He's the biggest
Especially
mystery in
here.
this entire game. Yeah.
I'd rather not know.
We're going to drop kick. Took out 2 people. That's pretty good, actually. Take this guy out. I didn't need to, because I could use... There's obviously 3 hits per sledgehammer. Excuse you. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention earlier in the pain in the backside. Notice how I'm down to 1 hit, despite only hitting that guy once. You hit your NPCs, that also takes down some durability. That can be a massive pain in the ass in small, tight, enclosed spaces, such as Shangri-La.
Yeah, your friendlies still have a hitbox that counts towards the degradation of the item, even if you don't actually stagger them or hit them at all.
I couldn't manipulate that guy, unfortunately. Could you stop? Thank you. This is really bad. Usually they stay together. I want this particular CC Lemon buff is one that we really need to last as long as possible.
Yeah, you got a big boss fight coming up at the end of this dungeon.
We don't usually get the CC Lemon that far, but there's a kind of mini-boss before it that I'd really like to have the buff for. I'm not certain if we're going to have it, unfortunately, because that was a little rough. It is very, very, very tight. I want to make sure you grab this sledgehammer on the way, because if you don't, then you're going to get in a bit of trouble.
You just gotta run back and get it, because you can't really break these, right, without the hammer.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's only later in the game you have some that you can break with it. It's much slower.
I couldn't guard that guy because he was kind of to my side. That guy with the big HP bar wasn't actually the guy I was talking about. He's coming up in the next room. We might just be able to get a quick barrel hit off on him. This is going to be very, very tight. If you've got any time for messages, now would actually be a good time before the next set of exposition kicks off.
Yeah, I would like to take the time to thank El Giganten. They are supporting the event with several dozens of top-of-the-line gaming PCs. A very important part of making the event happen, obviously, as the last 2 runs were on the PC. And all of the gaming PCs used on stream are provided by El Giganten, so thank you for that. Also, I wanted to remind everyone of the viewers that even though we have met the Flying Heretic cutscene incentive, there are still a lot of more incentives coming up in the future. For example, the Karaoke Bit War, which is still being led by Tonight in front of Today's the Diamond. So if you want to hear something else, you gotta donate for that.
Okay, I'm having a lot of problems with this fight.
It's not a good fight,
I'm just gonna have some of those buns that we bought earlier.
No, it's not a good fight.
I've never had a fight go this badly with this guy. What is happening? Just die!
Just got staggered into the corner.
That was so much more aggressive than his usual. Shout outs to my Tuck and Titan run last year, where the final boss also was more aggressive than she ever has been. Marathon luck.
Yeah, that fight is really you can get stuck there really easily, just because they can stagger you so much, especially with the mini boss there. The mini bosses, they really like to do drop kicks and stuff that will just stun you.
You might have also noticed my faux pas in the middle of that, where I accidentally picked up a can instead of the barrel. I tried to get an attack off while I still had the buff. I don't trust this. I really don't, because Hangman, spoilers, guess who's back? Yeah. This time parading as Spider-Man. How he got to the ceiling!
He's just gonna be hanging from the ceiling, it's fine.
The good old Spider Hangman here, he in one combo could kill me. Yeah. So, show me why. Oh no. Fine. I don't want to use my heat spin. Thank you, Somia. Yo, Somia. Yep. I baited out his block there. Oh my goodness. Just take the sledgehammer, Hangman. Thank you. We're done with Hangman.
Now he's gonna open. Smash his face into the wall. It's fine.
It's been the worst Shangri-La I've ever had. It's not even over.
No.
So sorry, this is awful, Shangri-La. Unfortunately, you can't take a weapon in here with you, which is a pain in the backside. We meet with Bigelow. Bigelow is not too happy that we brought Somia with us. He is now going to tell us to pick a side, or Somia is. We pick Bigelow's. When we find out that the Tojo were the ones who killed his son. I'm going to grab this bottle, hit Somia with it, and now if he guards it, he's not going to be able to guard it, because obviously it now counts, there you saw it, as a bladed weapon. There's not many weapons in here. I'm going to try and utilize them as well as I can. I'm leaving the table to last, because the table will do pretty much the most damage during his extreme heat mode, which is about to happen. We've got all of our heat, so if we need to do a very, very brief extreme heat, we can. We have another bottle. He guards way more and dodges way more in extreme heat. That's kind of like rule of thumb. Unfortunately, I dropped my guard and dropped the bottle, so we just grab the table. You can see how much damage that does. It's so nice.
So much damage.
Decent-ish Somia fight to make up for that. Oh, full Shangri-La. How was in the plot here? I kind of forgot. Basically, we go and tell Somia to stop it, and we talk to Big Lo about a certain few things, and then Big Lo... Is it here? I think this is the first mention of the secret of Onamichi, which we'll get into a bit later.
Yeah, isn't this where he tells you the points that he was about, the stuff that he tells you about why Jimmy Lowe got killed. And
yes.
He kind of tries to tell you what he knows about the Heihachi. No, he doesn't tell you about Heihachi here, right?
Heihachi was the one before. Basically, we also get told by Big Lo during that Haruto, who we left behind with Patriarch Hirose, beat Takeshi back in Onamichi, has Tenkaichi has taken Haruto. We don't know why, but he just disappeared with him. And the cutscene that everybody donated for is coming up.
Yeah, soon. Yep. Soon.
Yep. Have to make sure I don't accidentally skip that. I know it's one of the cutscenes after the Koshimizu fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which one it is. It's the one before. It's the one for the MLB fight.
Get to the
Cool. No. Speak to Nagamo. Speak to Nagamo. Nagamo's the trigger here. And usually you have a little thing on the mini map, and like there's like 3 in Sarina that don't give you like the indication. That's one of them. That's the one I always mess up. So we're heading back to Onamichi now, obviously, to go and find Haruto. If we've got time for some quick messages, then yeah.
Yeah, I would like to take the time to thank Twitch, one of our platinum partners. They are strong supporters of speedrunning and our community, and we've grown together and will continue to grow even stronger with more speedrunning events in Europe in the future.
So we're gonna chuck CC Lemon real quick, and then here comes a bunch of dudes, as per usual. So the nice thing about this dude in the middle, he looks familiar. He's going to turn up a few times that he's not the same person. We're just going to throw him hopefully into the rest. That's a pretty good throw. It's left 2 guys. You can leave these guys and hope that they catch up with you, but I don't trust that. I don't trust them to do that because they can get stuck in corners.
Attic driving for you.
For these guys, if we can drop kick these 2 and kill them in 1 hit really quickly, the other 2 will stay behind. Unfortunately, he moved forward, which is a shame. And then he stays there. Thank you, Yuta. I don't know what happened to my last punch there. This is just going to keep happening. It's kind of a mini dungeon. It's not a dungeon per se. The roads are blocked off, and we're kind of like on a set path that we have to go through. But basically, all of the Iwami shipbuilding lot are trying to stop us. Bike strats here, obviously. There's a nice bike here on the left, and these guys like to kind of come together. Nice on Nagamo punching those towards us. That's good. It's also quite useful to like get them on the last hit of the bike, because then you can just run and you don't have to throw the actual weapon.
Yeah, it's like the optimal thing is to be able to get the entire group in like 3 minutes.
Kiryu versus Car.
Chicken race and Kiryu standing still.
Yeah, that's how badass Kiryu is. Unfortunately, in this encounter, there's one NPC who's going to stay behind the car at the start. He's a massive pain in the backside because his AI sometimes breaks and just sits there. Which he's done now. There's these guys, the 3 sub-bosses. Again, this is why we have the CC Lemon. Did he just walk forward? He walked forward. Yuta, I'm going to trust you with this one.
Yeah, I think Yuta walking up the trigger thing.
I missed. Come on, Yuta.
Good throw. Well, you need to get like closer to the car for him to actually start running towards you. At least where you spawn is not close enough.
Sometimes he will. It's a little weird. Oh, stuck on a platform.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, that's why you want to kind of give like a bit of a wide berth to these streets. It's why the streets of Kamurocho themselves in this new engine have been widened a little bit. So we're going to get some backstory. We're going to get a little bit of backstory about Kiyomi and Somia's relationship. about how she hasn't seen her daughter because she's been in Somia's care the entire time. Nagamo's going to get upset, and then Kiyomi's just going to leave. And then obviously we're going to go back to doing the main thing that we're trying to do here, which is find Patriarch Hirose. There's 4 NPCs. The 4 NPCs to talk to, obviously Nagamo, Yuta, Naoto, and Takashira. The important one to talk to is Yuta. He actually has the correct choice. Speaking of semi-softlock opportunities, here comes one at the end of this part. It's not really a softlock per se, but the triggers can just disappear. There is actually a proper softlock opportunity coming up later. But unfortunately, we can't leave here until they finish talking. So
We're just gonna run into the door for a little while.
Yep. I'm gonna try this ESA Lemon, I think. Oh.
Can I chime in quickly?
Absolutely, go ahead.
After we've reached the Flying Haruto cutscene incentive, which was really good from everyone in the community, we also have another incentive coming up. For the LEGO Harry Potter years 5 to 7 run, we've got a cosplay incentive coming up. LP managed to find a Harry Potter, or at least one of our sweet hosts is willing to cosplay him. We will need a lot of more money to get that, but I'm sure we can reach it. So get in those donations if you want to see a sick Harry Potter cosplay.
Good luck, guys. That should be actually a really good incentive to meet. Alright, so we're gonna grab a fresh CC Lemon buff, which by the way, that tastes pretty good. But not as good as Red Bull.
Shout out to our sponsor, Red Bull.
Buy Red Bull.
So this is the softlock opportunity. Sometimes the door trigger here will not load. It loaded today. Oh, marathon luck. But the door is locked, like they said. We're going to go around to the side where there's a ladder. This is the one and only time you're going to see me use the first person to get around this table, to get this matchbox. There's a picture in here that you can also interact with of Patriarch Hirose and Iwami. Or shadowing.
Don't forget the poem stone.
Yep. So, opening up the door now. Here's a bunch of guys. I think you can tell what's going to happen to this guy in the front. He's going for a ride.
He's gonna get grabbed.
Right. I used to go down here and grab the gas cylinders that's there, but this, if you can get it right like this,
That was a good
so
fight.
much faster. Like so much faster. It's so nice.
Pretty clean.
Yep. So the matchbox that we picked up was a matchbox from a place called Snack Hourglass. So we're going to go and go over there now. By the way, just quickly, how are we doing with the karaoke incentive?
Currently in the lead is still the Tonight song with $125. Second is Today's a Diamond with $95. And third is Hands with $10.
Nobody likes the feel strain.
Nope. I went the wrong way. Thumbs up. I was meant to get the taxi. Oops. This is the Koshimizu fight. For some reason I thought I was going back to my apartment. Oh, that's bad. So I've run out of stamina and those guys have noticed me. Hi.
Hi, bye.
Okay, good. Yeah, that one. Think for a second there. This is the one side that we use this one. Right, so Koshimizu, like I said earlier, being like the big head honcho kind of in the Yomei Alliance. When we earlier, after we fought Somiya, we were supposed to oversee an alliance between Somiya and Koshimizu here. But Kiryu's basically like, I'm out of the Yakuza, I don't care. And they threatened war. They threatened to be in an alliance with the Omi and to go to war with the Tojo and like absolutely crush like the Tojo. But we basically just said, no, we don't care. Do what you want. As you can see, Koshimizu has a knife. It has unlimited durability, so we really don't want to get hit too many times by it.
They follow you in there,
Again, patience. He's going to spin around us a few times.
Lock on there.
Oh, I didn't kill him. Right. Never mind. That was interesting,
okay,
alright? That's an okay Koshimizu fight. Finishing with the other attack would have been great. The cutscene is coming up any second now. Gotta make sure I don't skip the wrong one. So we go and see beat Takeshi. massive plot exposition. Basically, Takashiro wasn't Haruto's father. Yuta was. Act surprised. Kiryu's not too happy about this, obviously.
First thing he does is like punch him through the door or something.
Yep. I make sure I don't skip the wrong cutscene.
Before or after Jin or John?
Yep.
It's like right before, right? Yeah.
Not this one, that one. I don't think it's this one.
You see the temple in the shot, right? And you're supposed to skip him.
It's not this one. So Masazoe turns up. I don't think it's this one, but I'm just gonna wait 2 seconds because it might be.
I think it's after they get out of the temple, not this one, right?
I just want to be safe.
I don't remember which one it
I'm
is.
fairly certain it's the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the lead up to Jungi Han.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Of course
Yeah,
it
you
is. 'Cause
gotta
he turns
fight
up at the
these-
end. Yeah.
It's like you're over here when the actual cutscene was supposed to happen.
I'm let's just say I'm delirious today. Sure.
I mean, you've not
Kinda
played
early.
it casually in a while, so I'll give you that
Kinda
excuse.
early.
I played it before I left for here.
Casually.
It's 100% the cutscene after this one. Oh no, the cutscene after this fight. Right, here's cutscene you're donated for, so enjoy. Yep. It gets better.
Dramatic slow motion.
Parenting 101 with the Yakuza.
Beat Takeshi. Wait.
He's safe!
That was like you were donated for.
That never fails to make me laugh.
I hope you all enjoyed that. Would now be a good or a bad time to plug Save the Children?
Donate to Save the Children if you don't want this to happen to your baby.
But yep, as you can see, people who are after us are actually the Jingwa Mafia, and taking up his proper title as the leader of the Jingwa Mafia and best fight scene, best fight music in the game, Jungi Han round 2. And unfortunately for him, he started us next to some benches. So this fight is reasonably simple. He's going to try to block potentially the 5th hit, so I might try and bait that out.
What, a few times you get to see how many hits you can do with the bench.
On the 4th hit, I should have seen he actually had his guard up and he staggered us. Could you not? Just did. And one more.
Dodges.
He dodged, he guarded. He's really trying not to die today. And after any fight, we just toss the bench.
Just hear it explode in the background.
Yep. So they come and tell Jungi-han that they actually have Haruto. Unfortunately, Yuta lost Haruto, so we're going to have to go back to the Hiroshi family office, and then we're going to go and have to get him back. We're going to grab the CC lemon on the dock, I think, actually. That'd probably be the best one. I'm trying to figure out whether I get a very quick upgrade to attack or defense. Might be a good idea. So one other thing I forgot to mention about enemy aggro, and this works across like most of the Yakuza games, because that group of enemies behind us is actually aggroed onto us and you can hear the fight music. If we walked into that group there, they wouldn't react in the slightest. They would not actually like try to attack us or anything like that, because you can only have one group of enemies aggroed onto you at a time. It's something that's a little more utilized in Yakuza 0 Plus because those games actually like have narrower streets, and in particular there's like certain segments in Yakuza 0 especially where you're running through a narrow street and you sometimes need to have just that like level of safety. We're gonna go grab, we know that they're in this like shipyard out to sea. Ino's got a boat, everyone's waiting for us. We're gonna grab our CC Lemon and then we're gonna go and save Haruto. So if you've got time for any messages, now'd be a good time.
Yeah, first I would like to say that this cutscene was worth every single donated dollar. It was amazing, and I think every viewer thinks so too. Also, I would like to remind everyone that we're benefiting Save the Children, and all your donations go towards Save the Children and their mission in giving children a healthy start in life, the opportunity to learn, and protection from harm. Even a small donation can make a big change. For example, $5 can provide education supplies for one child, giving him or her the tools they need to continue their education. So, thank you all for your donations, and keep them coming.
Thank you very, very much.
How much to prevent babies from being used as a rugby ball?
So, we're obviously in the next of the dungeon segments. I have an invisible pipe right now.
Yep.
That's
Fine.
interesting little glitch.
It's fine.
Can
Don't worry
sometimes
about
happen. Oh, there's also a very weird glitch. Never figured out how to do it. When you are in the Haruto segments, you can walk around with Haruto, not kind of as he is, but by holding onto his leg, and you can have full access to sprint. It's a little weird. Now we have to be very careful here, because if you walk off the edge, that's instant game over. The nice thing about Yakuza 6, the very, very nice thing about Yakuza 6, because this game came out in 2016 in Japan, and it's set in 2016 in this game, it's the first game in the series to feature auto-saving. So if problems happen, you just have a nice auto-save you can go back on.
Does Zero not have autosave? I thought Zero had autosave.
Which is a big whole thing about any percent Legend or even New Game Plus Legend. With the older Yakuza games, Legend difficulty is just that. Well, I'm going to do a really risky strat here where I'm going to quick step. No, I didn't get it. If you quick step at the right time, you just fall down. Yeah, not the brightest idea. You can fall into the water and die. This lovely gentleman is kicking explosive barrels towards us. We want to clear out these enemies as fast as possible so that he comes down. The nice thing about this is that these explosive barrels can actually hurt his own allies. We'll be utilizing that in a little bit. But yeah, the old Legend playthroughs, whenever you died, you'd go back to your last manual save. So if you hadn't saved on Legend and died, then that could end it very, very quickly. But for this, I'm not sure exactly how the rules of Legend runs work. Hello. We're fine. My HP isn't fine, actually, looking at it. Maybe I'll take a safety.
Maybe you should not stand next to the barrel.
Maybe
5% HP.
Maybe we eat some food. I was hoping not to heal before Jungi-han. Oops. Come with it. Get him. Nice. Hopefully the traffic cone is next to the barricade. The barricades that we're punching through. 5 regular attacks or 3 weapon attacks. the cone is there, which is nice. So we're going to get a nice phone call from Jungi Han. He will give us Haruto back if we get Yuta to kill his father, Big Lo. Kiryu isn't down for this idea.
Go punch it in.
Yeah. Pretty much the Yakuza way. If you've angered Kiryu, he's coming to punch you.
We have an update on the karaoke bid war.
Go ahead.
Right now, the top 2 songs, Today's a Diamond and Tonight, are tied to the last cent. So, if you really want to make a difference in this bid war, now is the time.
Nice. Thank you, everyone. Both very good picks. We
Except hands.
Yes. I still like hands. It's just
It's
long.
good. It's just too feelsy.
Yeah. That didn't work. Excuse me. That should have changed.
Too far to the left.
Why did they?
Whoa. What? It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Please don't have a secondary explosion here when I'm next to it.
Fine,
That was exceptionally weird. Like the barrel broke and exploded like 10 seconds after it should have done.
Was that a Nets ever happened before?
Yes.
Ah.
Hey, you've got our one in for the
happens
run.
to everyone.
This is the worst jump in the game. I'm not even joking. That looks so simple. You can fall in there very easily. And I believe with these dungeon stuff, you have to go back to the start. So,
Oh,
no,
okay.
you know what? Just take this.
what happened there?
I don't know how I missed.
Shot between them. And you have like auto aim basically.
I don't know where these containers are coming from either, by the way. Just go with it, I guess. So again, here's a big bunch of people standing around a big bunch of explosive barrels.
Now you are the Donkey Kong.
So for some reason, we're just going to grab this and explode everybody. That'll be good enough this time. There will be a secondary explosion, but it happens in the cutscene. Looks like that's some more people. This guy, if you're exceptionally lucky, can throw his explosive barrel, and it will land right next to the barricade here that we need to do. I'm going to stand next to it in hopes that he will. I don't want to shoot you because you have no health. Big guy will go. Unfortunately, CC Lemon buffers ran out, which means that we're not doing too great on time. That is a big weapon, so it's actually still a little quicker just to use your fists to break this barricade. He's still trying it on. Sometimes you can have the CC Lemon buff last this long, although I think that's at level 4. And we're still currently only at level 3. So, I have a little bit of a dumb strat where I kind of use these barrels as a weapon. Which I really shouldn't, but it does explode.
Casually using explosive barrels
As long as,
weapon.
yeah, as long as you use a heat move, everything's fine. It broke the other weapon that was up here.
You kind of did it on top of them.
Yeah, that's a pain.
There's not a lot of weapons up here, which makes this a very slow fight.
Yep. And I don't want to use my heat because we literally have a boss fight coming up after this fight. I'm using a combo of my like charge attacks, kind of like trying to keep him on the ground. Oh, the front. Ow.
Right.
I knew that was going to interrupt him. Okay, good.
Yeah, that really shows the difference the weapons and CC Lemon can make.
We'll see how long that fight takes.
That fight usually takes about 15 seconds-ish.
Yeah. But since the heat move exploded the other 3 barrels, it makes it a really slow fight.
He's not dead, by the way, just resting.
Of course not. It's a major plot point that Kiryu doesn't kill anyone.
So, Jungi Han actually says that under orders, Tatsukawa was actually looking after Haruka. And unfortunately, there was an accident, and he was the one who ran over Haruka. He was trying to get out of the way of a truck, and unfortunately hit Haruka. So now we know who hospitalized Haruka. But we're still going to do, like Jungi Han says, the Jingwon Mafia's final flourish. I don't like that you did that. I don't like that my health is like that either. I'm going to... might do a quick item buy at some point, because I really do not like the level of my health items. Trying to get to the mid-fight QTE. I'm going to try and extend that duration as long as possible. Isn't going to work, I don't think. When you're in extreme heat, you automatically pick up weapons, and it's the way that Kiryu can automatically pick up bigger weapons. It kind of incorporates his beast style from Yakuza 0, and obviously Yakuza Kiwami. Could you get off there? Thanks, Chippy. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm using strong attacks because he blocks strong attacks less. Okay, Jungi hand fight, not great. I think I'm missing a little damage again.
Have you missed an upgrade though?
No. No, so I'm not sure what's going on at the moment. I must have gotten one upgrade out of place, but fair enough. Right, oh boy, this chapter. So we got Haruto back. Jungi Han was about to tell us the secret of Onomichi, and then somebody shot him in the head. So he's now dead. We didn't see who had done it.
I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, and we also get a very brief look at Masazoi, who's unfortunately met with the same fate.
It's almost like it was the same person.
So somebody is trying to protect the secret of Onomichi. We realize that Haruto is going to be in danger no matter where we go, so we're going to keep Haruto safe with us. So us and Yuta are going to go back to Kamurocho. Yuta doesn't want the Sayo Triad to keep coming after him or his son Haruto, because blood ties are a massive important factor in the Sayo Triad, and of course with Yuta being the biological son of Big Lo, and with Jimmy Lo being dead, that means that Yuta's next in line. And obviously they're going to keep coming after Yuta again and again and again until he takes over the Sayo Triad. So Yuta wants to go over there, and he has a plan. About how he's going to go across this. We're going to go to the left-hand side of the road now, because there's a very lengthy sub-story that will occur if we're on the right-hand side. But we're just going to go fill the guys in and then head off to Kamurocho, so if we've got time for any messages now, it'd be a good time.
Yeah, we've got a $30.11 donation from Napo. Actually, this was the one donation that tied the bid war, and it just says CLW.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Thank you very much.
I think chat will go wild in like 2 seconds.
At least you got FFC on.
Yeah. Whoops. When clearing up my emotes, I was told under specific circumstances, do not remove CLW. There would be a lot of people who are upset with me if I remove CLW.
You have some fans that will probably come after you.
Yup.
Would unsub.
Unsub, unfollow, unexist.
Go home from ESA early.
So, we're obviously heading back to Kamurocho now. We're going to stop off in Serena. We're going to meet Date, who's going to look after Haruto. Small side note, Date's not got the best track records looking after people. As you'll find out when you play the Yakuza games. Especially Yakuza 1, where he was looking after Haruka and kind of let her get kidnapped 2 or 3 times. Whoops.
Oh, whoops.
Whoops. So, Yuta went out to get some air, but as it turns out, this is the cutscene that leads to the CC Lemon, so let's have the CC Lemon now. Turns out Yuta's actually ran off, and his great plan is to go get drunk and meet with his dad.
Yeah, and set the place on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately the second part to that is he doesn't actually have alcohol in those bottles, he has gasoline. And he set the place on fire, as we're about to find out.
Little Asia is going to be lit once again.
Oh boy. That place is unfortunate in this game. Burnt down once, about to burn down a second time.
That's like the first cutscene of the 6th game, right? That they burn down. They show all these shady figures that you don't really get to know until much later.
Yep, you see Sugai and 3 figures who you don't know who they are. I guess it's okay to say who they are now because obviously it's coming up to the point where they're revealed. But the 3 figures who are there doing a business dealing are Big Lo, his son Jimmy Lo, and Iwami Jr., who is going to become far more prominent in this run very, very soon. This is the one phone conversation in the game you can skip. Unfortunately, it puts you forward a little bit.
I just want to point out the amazing quest objective in the corner of Yuta, you idiot.
Yup, that's curious thoughts. Does the cutscene load in time? Yes! So if this cutscene loads in time, you get to see this great drop kick. If it doesn't, you just hear it happen and then see the after effects. We're gonna throw Wang here. Thrown towards the rest of them. They're kind of spread out, which is a little bit of a pain. I'd like to try taking this guy, this Ed lookalike out, because he has a lot of HP. Bad timing on that parrying. Okay. For some reason, this barricade only takes 3 hits. Accidentally, yeah. Put another one. A bit of input delay. Okay, so we're going to grab a chair to deal with this guy. Hopefully as many of these as possible. Again, we want to go reasonably fast in here. That was actually pretty decent.
That was optimal since you broke the chair in the process.
I did miss an attack, so I thought it was second heavy. So even though the place is on fire, this guy's just hanging out. That guy has a submachine gun. How'd you do?
Fortunately, it sporadically explodes as soon as he dies.
Nice. That guy, nice, sometimes likes kicking the chair towards you, so very glad we got that. And guess who?
Oh, it's Ed. Chilling in the building on fire.
Just chilling in his office while everything's on fire. So for the third and final time, we're going to fight Ed. As we said earlier, we've given him a bit of a fear of chairs, as you can see by how much damage he's now taking. CC Lemon.
Take a seat.
And again, patience. Bye, Ed.
What is that slow-mo, though?
Fortunately, Ed sees the error of his ways. We kind of see, why are we fighting here? This place is on fire. And Yuta's on the top floor, and we're going to go sort him out as well. The nice Yakuza way of everybody's acting up. Let's go hit them with chairs.
Usually works.
Oh, so we get the cutscenes that show off that Yuta was the one who actually set the fire. Big Lo is in here, not dead, but unconscious, and we're literally going to punch some sense into you. The best weapon in this room is actually that vase at the back. There's 2 of them, and they do insane amount of damage, actually. When I don't drop it on the floor.
Did
These
it break, though?
I don't think so. I didn't hear it break. Yuta here, his second phase has like the biggest iframes out of I think any boss in the game. So if you like stand near him, he can also break the weapon randomly. Like, sure. You would think that this QTE would be quicker to fail and it would also damage him, but no, it just damages you. And it's slower. It goes on like a mini like monologue about it. Patience. Yeah, he's still guarded now. I'm just gonna grab the other vase just in case. See how much damage that is compared to the actual cabinet? It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's still there. Good.
I thought it was going to break. Like, if something gets launched in the air like that, it should break.
Almost every time you take something that's underneath another object you can pick up, it almost always just flies up and explodes.
Yeah. So, 30 minutes of plot exposition. How do I do this? We basically get Yuta and Big Lo out of there. We tell you, you're a bit of an idiot for doing that. But basically, Big Lo says about everything that's transpired up to this point. The original setting fire to Little Asia was caused by his son, Jimmy Lo.
Oh, damn it, Jimmy Lo.
Oh, damn it, Jimmy Lo. Jimmy Lo basically started everything off because he wanted to be recognized by his father.
Daddy issues?
Yep. So Jimmy Lo's, the Tire Trad weren't like anywhere near Kamurocho at the time. They were, I think, back in China. They didn't want to like take over. Big Lo didn't actually want to make a splash at all, but Jimmy Lo decides to set fire to the place and goes, "Hey, we're getting to Kamurocho here," and basically Big Lo and Jimmy Lo start talking in Chinese, which Iwami Jr. is there and actually fully understands Chinese. So Iwami Jr. basically goes, under those circumstances, this is our deal, and we are doing this, and you answer to me. then basically, obviously, that's the lovely guy there. God damn it, Jimmy Lowe. And basically, I'm off that. Basically, the Star Triad moved in, which is why Little Asia looked like that, and they were there when the game started up. But unfortunately, this is what caused the war with the Tojo. Big Low, yeah, this is the cutscene that explains all of it. Big Low didn't want to go to war with the Tojo, but then the Tojo killed Jimmy Lowe, so obviously, yeah. Now, Big Low then starts talking to us about the one thing that can take down Kurosu and Iwami Jr., which is the secret of Onomichi. This is the thing that's been mentioned very briefly in cutscenes a lot over the course of the game. Big Low doesn't know exactly what it is. All he knows is it's a very big political secret, and slightly military as well. So he has given us a flashcard with a code on it, which we're going to go and decipher now, which is all the way back in Onomichi. So whilst we go over there, if we've got any time for any messages?
Yeah, I would still like to give some attention to the Harry Potter couching incentive for Lego Harry Potter years 5 to 7. LOP has found someone with like a really good cosplay of Harry Potter who can couch if the incentive is met. There is $600 missing right now, so get in those donations because this will be the next game after Yakuza 6 is finished.
I think we got, what are we looking at? Yeah, we got about an hour left, less than an hour left for the karaoke, so please get those donations in. We'll be doing the karaoke after the run, by the way. It won't take too long to get back there. You can load a clear game save file and just Premium Adventure and just go over there. So we need to head over to the Hiroshi family office. I think you all saw, though, that there's a bunch of dudes here. This is one of the most dangerous fights in the game, surprisingly. This guy at the front, Ito, he looks like those that came before him, but he isn't. He has a gun. And here's the annoying thing, despite his placement, you can't grab him. He has like certain iframes, so we're going to do a drop kick. That was a good drop kick. I didn't want to grab this guy, I wanted to grab the gun. I wanted the gun for the next part.
The guy with the truck?
Yeah, sure. So Kiryu versus truck. Kiryu wins. So
tactical roll there for no reason.
This random truck that's just busted its way through town has some dudes on it. This guy is a second mini-boss for this fight. He has an infinite combo, or a near infinite combo. So ideally, let's get away from him. That's it. So I'm going to go back over here.
The gun should still be there.
Yep. Grab the gun. It's a little far out of the way, but if I can get the heat move off on him.
Oh.
What? Why is it not going off? Can you lads move? This is why I got Ringard. Gun's gone, unfortunately, but have to improvise. Extremely.
Where the AI behavior can kind of get in the way.
It's a little unfortunate that I've used this here. I really need to save this for the next upcoming boss fight, but that fight was going to start to go very wrong if I didn't actually use that. That's one of the fights that I get regard for, because obviously that infinite combo, if you can get that guard off, you can just keep guarding. Ideally I would have parried, but my parry timing seems to be off today, which is a shame. I'm going to actually do an upgrade here, I think. Let's get attack. Tell you what, for safety, I'm going to get me some health and defense. I usually do this in the next split, but I'm just going to do this now. I don't trust this so far. We've used too many healing items. I hate mashing for this because you have to mash this upgrade so much.
Stats.
Right, now we should be good. We're still not fully safe. We can still die in this run, but we're a lot more safer now. I just wanted to do that before the next dungeon part, because the next dungeon part is a little on the scary side. So we also found out from Big Low that the guy who killed Junki Han, Masazoe, and has been protecting the secret of Onamichi without knowing what it is for the entirety of his life, is Hirose. And Nagamo obviously doesn't want to hear it. So we get to fight Nagamo, and he starts off in extreme heat, which is a pain in the backside. So I'm going to try and build mine back up real quick. Really? This fight's going awfully. Usually you can use that sign and get him straight into the second phase. Oh my god. You know what? Do it beforehand, because I should get some heat back from the QTE. So notice how he's not dying? Because we need to see the QTE. Wrong one.
Nagamo knows how to use his head.
Punch. So now that we've, again, for the 4th time, and Nagamo is the only boss that you fight more than 3 times in this game. Now that we've actually punched some sense into him, and the Ome Alliance have come along, we're going to beat them up.
Like, oh, we're enemies, now we're friends.
Yep. I guess. So usually you have a second finisher at the end of your combos. I like to kind of like delay it a little bit and try and like use it to hit people that far away. That's the code that Bigelow gave to us. It's a bunch of numbers and letters. We're not supposed to know what it is, but if you've been playing the game casually, it's kind of obvious what it is. There are 9 poem stones littered around Onamichi, and we have to go and look at all of them. So this is a very long walking segment. This is an old character from an older Yakuza game. We're not going to do his sub-story. I'm just going to have to walk around him so I don't trigger his dialogue, and this is one of the poem stones. So if we've got time for any messages, now would be a good time.
Yeah, that's great. I would like to tell you about Todman Interactive, which is one of our partners. Todman Interactive is a Swedish game developing firm. They are currently working on their first solo AAA title called Immortal Unchained, which will be released during 2018. Also, if you're at the event, they are bringing a playable demo uniquely for ESA. That's pretty cool.
Nice. Right, so there's there's 2 actually, unfortunately, that are up here. If we miss any of these poem stones, we're gonna lose about 2 minutes. So I'm really trying hard to remember, like, and just concentrate and just make sure that I don't forget which ones they are. So if you've got time for any more messages, go right ahead.
Yeah, I would like to take the time to remind you of the charity we're benefiting, which is Save the Children. There are currently 168 million children worldwide involved in child labor. That's more than all the children in Europe combined. Child labor deprives children of the right to normal physical and mental development and often interferes with children's education. $50 can pay for the attendance of an entire village school in a country like Uganda, including the cost of teacher training and salary, supplies and curriculum. Educating children gives the next generation the tools to fight poverty and prevent disease. So every donation counts, and it's for a great cause.
So we're still just gonna waltz around, have a little look for stuff.
Even if you can visit all these stones before you get here, it doesn't actually count towards the clues.
Yes, unfortunately. Unlike the bento that we got earlier.
Yeah, some things you can get before you actually get there in the game, like when you need to deliver a certain item to someone, you can just get it before you even get the mission to do it. But with these, even if you visited it and read all of the poem stones, it's like it really requires you to visit them.
I'm fairly certain I got this one. I'm just double checking. This is the one I missed the most. So it takes literally like 3 seconds to double check. Yeah, no, the Yakuza 0 has actually a good example of that, where early on, like Chapter 2, you actually have to get a load of alcohol for some hobos, but later on in the game, like Chapter 5, Chapter 5, you have to get a confectionery gift box, which you can't, no, you can get that early. In Chapter 7, sorry, you have to go get some takoyaki, but the way the takoyaki is treated is as a key item, so you can't go and get that early. It has to be piping hot. So it has to be like at that exact moment. There's that sub-story from earlier that we're passing by. We should be at 6 stones now. Should be, well, after this one, there should only be 2 left. I'm not 100% certain if this is the fastest route. You do have taxis that you can use, but the unfortunate thing is there's usually a ropeway that goes to the very top, where the other 2 stones are that we have to go out of our way for. Unfortunately, it's not open when the city is in its nighttime phase, which obviously it is now. And I need to grab a extra infinite sprint drink, which I don't remember which of these 2 vending machines it was. I think it was you, Green Dakara. No, it's you. Nice. So again, just mixing up our drinks a little bit. We just need this so that we can just keep running around and not having to stop. And this should be the last one. If not, panic. Hey, it's the last one.
We did it.
It's always a worry. I missed one once and just lost 5 minutes because it was the one furthest away. The most frustrating thing ever. But because we have unlimited sprint, the poem stones are going to lead us as a cipher towards a location, which is actually the graveyard. So we're going to go over to the graveyard. Thankfully, obviously the infinite sprint is going to stick around. We're going to go to Yamano Dodai. If I'm right, that's the name of the fixer. Oh no, it's not. That's not. Sorry. The fixer is somebody else called Daidoji, I believe. He is gonna be important soon. I went the slow route. Whoops. There you go. I went the slow route. That's my bad. The fixer is gonna come into the story in a little bit, but he's basically like some big hot shot behind the scenes. That's a bad spawn.
Hi guys.
Hello. That's unfortunate. Got a knife, unfortunately. Even though the next one is an area trigger, I'm actually taking those guys out on purpose because there's a very real opportunity that if they're chasing me here, the game can crash. I've had it happen a few times. Like 2 or 3 times, so I just wanted to make sure that they weren't chasing me just in case. So now we can go over to in the grave we found a parchment that showed a old graveyard, so we're going to go and head over there now, which is where Patriarch Hirose should be. So if you've got time for any messages, now would be a good time.
Great. I would like to talk about Chrono.gg. They have partnered up with us for this year, and they're a site where you can buy 1 game every 24 hours. Currently, they have a Darksiders franchise pack, so all of the Darksiders games, Darksiders 1, Warmastered Edition, and Darksiders 2, Definitive Edition, are available there. If you've seen the run yesterday, you can pick up the game right now and start speedrunning yourself. So head over to Chrono.gg, buy the games, and a lot of the money will go to charity. So it's also a great cause.
Okay, so we've made our way to the docks, obviously grabbed our CC Lemon as usual. We will not be able to keep this CC Lemon until the end, so we're going to have to go as far as possible, which is a shame because the boss at the end of this is kind of a pain, and I wish we could delay that CC Lemon as long as possible, but is what it is. This is actually the penultimate chapter. We've got 1 more chapter after this, which is basically a dungeon and then a boss rush. I missed that barrel, which is a shame because I kind of need that for this big lad behind us. Yep. Have that because you're guarding.
Right now.
Big lad drop kick. So again, the nice thing is, obviously, NPCs in this are pretty good. They were okay in the old engine as well, but they're like much better in this. And they'll actually like try and help you. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. But if I can get in front of him, then I can get in front of him. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So if I can get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he won't block me. So ideally here, yeah, I want to get in front of Takashira so that he w There's some health items here that I usually pass by, but with how this run has been going, I think it would be better to take them for safety. So, only way we can go is by jumping out the window onto a crane. Unfortunately, we can't skip this cutscene. Most of like the normal dialogue in the Yakuza games can be skipped by holding R1 and X. It's the same for like these little sections. Sometimes some of the animations can get skipped. In the older animation with stuff like Yakuza 0, it couldn't. So again, this new engine is actually quite a big blessing speedrun-wise. And from the looks of Kiwami 2, it looks like all the cutscenes and stuff are also skippable in the main story, at least. It seems that side stuff isn't, so all sub-stories run would be interesting. This is a very thin area that we're going to try. We're going to try and throw people. I managed to do it once. These are the problems with big lads, is once they get going, they're really hard to...
They stagger a lot.
Yeah. You didn't know that. Ragdolls in this game are perfect, again, because of the new engine. That's one of them over there. I'm trying to go down at specific angles. Ah, shame. So I miss like the top here and etc. So that I like get a quicker way down. We've got a big old courtyard full of folk. I'm going to go to the back here where there's 2 barrels. Try and deal with these guys quickly first. That's a shame. That's a massive shame. Every enemy is being really aggro today. It's a shame. I was going to get more of that. Ideally, we take care of big guys and people with weapons first. Right, so we're just carrying on through the facility to get down to where we think the secret of Onamichi is. We got to be careful in this room. There's bags next to the actual barrels here. Each of those bags have kind of like a powder in them, or like a gas substance. They can make you choke. That was a really good encounter, actually. Which can basically stagger you for a very long time, and if the enemy aren't near it, it won't stagger them. So that was pretty good. We basically want to stay as far away from that as possible. Health is looking a little dangerous, not gonna lie. So, as per usual, we're just gonna break walls for sledgehammer. Now we're gonna go into this small section. We're gonna have enemies spawn that have knives, so we've got to be very careful here. What I'm gonna do is I want to grab before, after the next 6 set of enemies, we want to grab a knife, ideally. Too bad. Ideally a knife that has as much durability as possible, hopefully from one of these guys. You can see that my health is starting to get really low. Careful, let's grab that. Is there a knife? Nope. Okay, just have to carry on.
Just gotta grab the air a couple times.
Just for safety. I might do a safety upgrade as well, just in case. I think a safety upgrade would be a very smart idea right now. So we come back here to where Nego heard the noise, and here's a guy with a sword. Just hanging out. This guy has an interesting moveset. He borrows a move from one of the older Yakuza games, and it's the most annoying dodge in the entire series, where he'll go down on the ground, kind of spin around a little bit, and hit you, like that. That's it exactly. And we call it the Arase dodge, because it was first popularized by the enemy Arase, who's a gun kata wielding crazy dude. But you'll see him in Yakuza Kiwami at some point. So we've reached the part where the coordinates lie. Obviously, everybody else has like stayed behind, stop enemies coming after us. There's a Toughness Infinity coming up on the left, which is the best healing item. There's only 2 of these that we can pick up in the run, so obviously I'm definitely going to be picking them up. We got the other one earlier with the other dockyard dungeon. But this is very vital. This also refills your heat to max as well, so we can get some heat moves off. This encounter right here is frustrating. Here's a bunch of guys. There's not many weapons here. And there's a bunch of guys in here that have knives or can just interrupt you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the barrels over here and hopefully the boss comes over, which he did. Or sub-boss, I should say. He guards a lot and is very annoying.
Nice.
I've noticed. Good. He's the big fear I had.
The big lad drop is
As always. So if your attack gets blocked, you actually have a delay if you follow it up with a strong. I'm gonna heal before the next fight because I don't trust this. Because, again, we have found the gatekeeper, the one who is guarding the secret of Onamichi, and as mentioned earlier, is Beat Takeshi's character itself, Hirose. So as said, you don't have a story of Beat Takeshi without it getting serious.
careful, he has a kitchen knife.
Oh yeah, he has multiple kitchen knives. If you run away from him far enough, he'll start throwing kitchen knives and just keep getting kitchen knives out. The interesting thing is you can use those as weapons, but even though Beat Takeshi is like 70, we're just going to drop kick him a few times. That is the most annoying move in his repertoire. He has a counter that counters anything and everything.
He just like trips you a little.
And because he has a knife, we can't guard his attacks. I'm just going to extreme heat and figure it out. 5, 6, 7, 8. He's another one of these that really likes to block this attack. Excuse me. So we're now going to do a little bit of Metal Gear Rising, where he's going to create a smoke screen and disappear. We're going to run around. There's going to be some QTEs. I think running around makes them happen slightly faster. I don't think that's like fully true, but it feels like it is. Final one is coming up now. This will give us back 1 orb of heat. And I might do... Yeah, I have one. He has 1 more fight QT that we have to get through. But first I'm just going to do some damage to him. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I did a full square. Yep, you see, there's the guard. And obviously we do nothing. Counter me. Got it. Ow, dude. Thanks.
Nice curve knife.
Got that off quickly enough. 6. He hasn't done the QTE yet. He hasn't done the QTE yet. Can you do the QTE, dude? Thank you. Now we just have to punch him. Usually he counters this. Couldn't just let me have it this once, could you, Hirose? That is one of the most stressful fights in this entire run. You wouldn't think that a guy who's like 70 would be that strong, but my word.
He's a pretty good hitman.
Yep. Right. 40 minutes of plot exposition. Did you see that? That was a boat. That was a big boat. That was the Yamato Mark II.
Big boat.
Back, obviously, all these years ago, when, obviously, there came down the word to stop making battleships and stuff, Iwami, aka Kurusu, decided to ignore that. That's Kurusu right there. He decided to ignore that order completely, and he used the Heiheizi to actually keep building the Yamato Mark II in secret. Now, obviously, if you know anything about politics, which I'm not going to get into, that is a big deal, and it's something that can politically sink him. Now, it was hidden beneath the Bay of Onamichi. Everyone can see it now. So basically, this ends Kurusu, who decides, you know, he's been very ruthless. He originally hired Hirose to guard it without actually telling him what the secret was. It was a secret that had to be guarded without any knowledge in his entire life. So basically, he's been doing that this entire time, and now he's failed because of our interference. So unfortunately, Kurisu comes to take out Hirose and then just walks off. Hilariously, he doesn't kill anybody else, he just walks off. Dude's got a gun and everything. And I believe that man just phased through that scooter. Okay. I believe he gets killed by his son, Iwami Jr., who wants to inherit the actual legendary title of Kurisu. And in the background, the Fixer, he's heard that Kiryu was the one who basically made this boat happen, and the Fixer was heavily invested and heavily involved in the making of the Yamato Mark II, so the Fixer now wants Kiryu dead. So he's sending everybody after Kiryu. So Somiya came here not to fight, but to actually warn us. Somiya has so much respect for Kiryu that he actually wanted to warn us about the fact that there are going to be people gunning for Kiryu right now. So for the finale, we've got basically one semi-reasonably big dungeon coming, and then we have like a small mini little boss segment. Should be alright for the estimate, Carl.
We're at 239.
Yeah, we should be more than enough time for the estimate, I hope. And to carry after. So here's a guy with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, just casually a guy with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, as you do.
Bit of a step up from handguns and kitchen knives.
Yep, he drops it for some reason. There are enemies with rocket launchers later that can stun lock us and kill us. So we're just gonna kick this guy. This fight has 3 waves of enemies. We're gonna try and take care of this guy. Hopefully, this... Really hate dropping the bike here. It's such a shame. Fortunately, the bike will respawn mid-fight for some reason. Sorry, Naruto, I don't mean to hit you. Promise. See the damage now. Like, the damage is insane that we maxed out at damage. It's technically not maxed out. You can go to 300, but you need to max out every other stat to 200. And obviously, we're not going to get that in the run. We only have enough for barely getting 2 stats to 200. I think I'll take a safety upgrade before the big dungeon as well. So this should be the final set of guys from the Yome Alliance. I'm going to leave those guys to them and hope that I can take these guys out. People hit me from behind. I'm really hoping that would stay because I would have used my extreme heat to use that. Could you stop? Thank you. You can... Yakuza 6, one of the things that people don't like about Yakuza 6 and its new engine is the fact that it has way less heat moves than most of the Yakuza games. We obviously don't get any heat moves in the run because they don't actually help out too much. I could get one that goes along with my parry, but for the most part, it's easy just to take out the enemies. But for the other Yakuza games, obviously we use a lot of heat moves, heat actions, because weapons aren't as overpowered and you don't have CC limit. So everybody's mourning Hirose. This is the final time that we are going to be in Onomichi, so we're going to be going back to our apartment. We have to be very careful with the taxi because the taxi, at this point, you now have free roam between Onomichi and Kamurocho, so it adds to the top of the taxi list a taxi to Kamurocho, so it bumps everything down a place on the list.
Bad to hit.
Yeah, if you get the other one, you'll be stranded down a side alley and you'll have to take like an extra 30 seconds to get to the actual point. But we're going to go to Kamurocho. We're going to get started with the final dungeon. It won't be time after the final dungeon. There's like 2 little boss fights afterwards. They're pretty quick because of CC Lemon.
You have like a straight boss rush right at the end.
Yeah.
3 bosses? No, 4.
Yeah, we could die quite easily. We still have our 2 toughness infinities, which is good. But I am running a little low, which is worrying. That's why I'm considering doing that last little safety buff, because I'd usually be done by now. But yeah, marathon, and I don't want to go overestimate or anything like that. So now we brought the entire crew here. We're going to go to the police hospital because Haruka is woken up. She's woken up. Yuta is going to come with us. He's going to take Haruto, and they're going to stay with Haruka with Date. Remember when I said that Date isn't very good at looking after people? So, unfortunately, at some point... Yep. Yep. But for now, us, Nagamo, Takashira, Matsunaga, we're going to go off, and Akiyama, we're going to go off to the Millennium Tower, because you can't have a Yakuza game with having one big old bash in the Millennium Tower. To go and do that dungeon, I'm going to grab the CC Lemon now, because it's the only point we can do it before we go over there. And again, if you get close to like triggers like this door, it will disappear, so you have to make sure that you actually like use the CC Lemon before you go in there. Then instead of being able to go in, it will give you a prompt instead. We're going to go take Sugai down. Everybody's all ready. We're going to outfit ourselves out in suits. And we're going to go into the Millennium Tower. For this first encounter, we're going to grab a dude and we're going to throw him. Simple as that. There's basically like a whole bunch of people here that basically like, kind of like crowd around you. Oh, Yuta's actually with us. Sorry, no, Yuta is with us. Okay. Just realized. That's later. Yeah. So, try and take out as many people as we can. That's pretty good. I like aiming for the guys that have like more health, obviously, because usually our NPC allies are good enough like that. Just take out people on their own. So now that they're all dealt with, we can go into the Millennium Tower. Millennium Tower is in every single game except for Yakuza 0. However, the Millennium Tower is still a very important plot point of the Yakuza 0. I won't explain why, because it's spoilers, but yeah. It's had a nice renovation thanks to the new engine, which is nice. I knew that was going to hit the wall, which is a shame. There's not that much in terms of furniture that we can use here. So you'll see me like a lot, especially for the big guys, doing drop kicks, because drop kicks are still pretty good. Unfortunately, you can see there, guys that can just block it entirely. I cancelled my attack, but it still worked. We're going to be doing a bit of fighting in this lobby, so if you've got time for any messages, now would be a good time.
Yeah, I would just like to remind everybody of the 2 Lego Harry Potter incentives. First, we got one incentive for Carrot, Vans, or Disguise mode, which is essentially a big war, so remember if you want your healthy carrots, or if you like being sneaky, get your donations in for that. We also have the Harry Potter couching donation incentive, so if you want Elopie to find Harry Potter, or at least a commentator willing to cosplay him, make sure to get those donations in.
Right, so we have a, little bit of a risky strat here. I call this grenade strat. You can probably tell why in a second. There's a guy at the back here, he has a grenade. I'm going to use that grenade.
You just kind of hold on to it.
And I hope that kills the both of them. I don't want to get killed by that. Unfortunately, this guy was backing out, so grenade strat didn't work, unfortunately. Usually it's enough damage to take care of both of them. It's also a lot of damage to us if it catches us. And speaking of grenades and rocket launchers.
Yeah. For some reason, there's just a couple of guys in this building as RPGs.
Why not? These guys can actually stun lock you. So we want to get over there as fast as we can before they actually fire the next salvo.
Yeah, you need to kill at least one of them before that happens. Otherwise, they might just cycle perfectly, so you just keep getting stunned.
And now we go back to the very start of this dungeon. Actually, no, we go back to the left shaft. Oh, these guys doing work as well, actually taking care of most of them. Used just taunting there. We're going to go in this room. Lots of chairs, going to utilize that. The guy at the back, hopefully he breaks the chair. Excellent. So now Yuta's going to do something stupid. Imagine that. He's going to walk forward and... Yep. Without looking, he's going to get stabbed. So nicely, we can start next to a chair and some tables. We're just going to use those to deal with the majority of the people in this room. Nice, very nice. Utes is obviously too injured to go on, so Akiyama's going to get him out and go to the hospital. We're going to carry on our own. Is this the reference? I believe it is. Every so often in the Yakuza games, there's a helicopter, and I believe this is a direct, straight reference to Yakuza 3. Yep.
Fine.
And yes, there's a man with a minigun inside of it. I have to love how over the top this game is. I'm fairly certain that's a good old reference back to Yakuza 3. Even Kiryu makes the mention. Yep. So we're gonna fight through some guys in the helicopter. Hello? Gonna fight through these guys, and we're gonna have to go behind some pillars. You want to be very careful not to get hit by these attacks, because
It's very easy to get stun locked and killed in that machine gun fire.
there's a very quick strat coming up that if I fail will lose me 7 minutes. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty much debating not going for it, but at least point it out.
I mean, it's not exactly marathon safe, because if you fail it, then you're gonna go back to the beginning of the helicopter segment.
We're gonna go back to the grenade guy.
That far?
That
I thought
far.
it was the beginning of the grenade segment.
That is not a fun checkpoint.
No. Sometimes this guy comes forward, unfortunately he's not playing nice. I'm gonna grab this toughness CZ for safety. Walk over his body, because that's what you do. Grab or not. Should I drop kick the guy? Oh well. Again, Collateral doing good work here. We're just going to get into a few fights here, so if you've got time for any messages, now would be a good time.
Yeah, we'd just like to remind everybody once again, the donation incentives for Lego Harry Potter coming up. It's the next run, so make sure to get those in.
So because Kiryu is a bit light on his feet, you can move a little bit. What I like to do is like guard, so you kind of just like stop like almost immediately, and then that way you won't accidentally go too far past the barricade. I'm going to try and intentionally get hit by this rocket here and have these guys get taken out.
There you go.
And we got pushed forward, that's perfect.
Tank it with your face.
Kiryu is that buff that you can just tank an RPG to the face.
Yep. I'll use one of these furniture here. Love seat, apparently. I'll leave the other one up. We're going to need that for the hopefully quick strat. If it doesn't look like I'm going to get it in any way, shape, or form, I'm not going for it. So we have another set of people here. We have a guy with a machine gun. Gun guys basically go first. Guns, rocket launchers, knives, they're the ones that go first. Unfortunately, I was hoping that hit the grenade guy.
That was close.
Unfortunately, you can't pick up the submachine guns. They break as soon as they get dropped. We're going to have a quick QT here. You think this would nail the helicopter? It doesn't. He's coming back. So, for these guys, I'm going to hit them with the last seat. I'm going to hopefully push them towards the barricade together. I push them away so the quick strat is not happening in the slightest. You want that to happen, then you obviously want to be by the barricade, because the last hit from that seat there will actually break the barricade. A helicopter? The helicopter was supposed to spawn way before then, because the helicopter's the thing that's supposed to break the barricade. I'm gonna safety. You see how much damage that little thing did there?
Yeah.
Like, it just destroys you. Not dead, by the way. Long run in Yakuza me. Kiryu doesn't kill anyone.
No. Non-lethal helicopter crash.
Not dead, by the way. Just fireworks. Perfectly fine.
It's just a flesh wound, that'll be fine.
So we're going to go over here, and we're going to get a phone call from Sugai. Unfortunately, Sugai has seen us coming. He's not here. He is over on the Yamato Mark II with Koshimizu. They have taken Kiyomi hostage, unfortunately, and because of that, unfortunately, they're forcing Somiya to fight us. So for the third and final time, and he gets a katana this time. Somiya round 3, and he has one of the best themes in the game again. This is a running theme of this game, is that everyone has such a good fight theme. So this fight is a pain because obviously he has a sword. There are these bar stools here, but they are not reliable because they don't do much, and Somiya guards a lot. I want to get into second phase before I use my extreme heat. We see Sugai for the first time there.
This is a bad guy in this continuity.
And Koshimizu again, who we beat up earlier. So phase 2. We use my extreme heat now because I don't like this part of the fight. We basically just want to get into the QTE. 8. I wanted to do a strong, but I didn't hit the input time.
Somiya is one of the bosses who will bot block that combo.
And dodge, that's real bad. Get the bustle straps. You can also accidentally pick up some drink shakers and I think there's some chopsticks on there. So you can see exactly why bar stools aren't reliable. It is a massive shame. I think this should be QTE. Yes. So when you have an attacking QTE like this, if you pass it, then you'll get a bar of heat back. For the most part, most QTEs in the game will give you some heat back, but if they don't have a QTE in them, then they won't. So that's why I use my extreme heat like strategically and at certain points. We can't use extreme heat for a little while there. We're going to use the strong again. Ideally, we can get the really long one out, but I don't trust like Somiya not to guard against it or to dodge against it. And of course, Somiya can also kick those against you. Kick, I think. I was standing behind the bar. Alright, so we are literally in this final phase, kind of boss rush kind of mode. After Somiya, we're now going to go straight to the penultimate boss and then the final boss. We are going to go and stop this kind of alliance between Iwami Jr., who is Kurisu, who wants to become Kurisu, and Koshimizu. And we just basically get led into a big old fight. As said earlier, unfortunately Date is not very good at protecting people, and in the meantime, whilst Yuta is at the hospital as well, they go and take Haruka and Haruto, which will come up very shortly. We don't have that much HP, I'm a little worried. I have both my toughness infinities, I can use those. Yeah, we should be fine. It's the final night in Kamurocho. I'm gonna heal real quick. That works actually, because I need the heat for the next fight. Our final CC Lemon. We're gonna go see Nagamo and we're gonna end this. With this first phase of the Koshimizu fight, he has 2 phases. The first phase, much like Masazoe, the only... Okay, thanks. The only...
Spoilers.
The only...
Not recorded, by the way.
The only person who matters in this fight is actually Koshimizu himself. All of the ads around don't matter. Also one of the coolest fight entrances. So we're going to start for a running kick. Throws aren't too useful against bosses because they kind of just like get straight up. But for the first part of this fight, we just want to try and take him out. Nagamo doesn't usually hang on to Koshimizu, so this is actually kind of nice. I want to save my extreme heat mode until the second part of this fight. There's no real weapons that are hidden around. By the way, the end for the karaoke bid wall will be when I say time. Which is coming up in like 2 minutes. I should have mentioned that sooner, sorry. Nice, so phase 1 is done, all the ads will disappear. Koshimizu's going to get his knife out. Nagamo is going to take the hit for us. There are no more QTEs left in this fight, so we're just going to go into extreme heat. And try and deal with Koshimizu as fast as possible. 8, 7. Again, we have to be careful considering he has a knife. Nice.
Don't get stabbed.
Decent Koshimizu fight, and we are now going into the final boss, Iwami. Short little plot point that happens between this. They bring out Haruka and threaten her, and Kiryu can't do anything whilst they obviously have her, but Kiryu basically is getting angrier and angrier, and then Nagamo's crew come along, help everybody out, and that leads into this, which is the final fight of the game.
Scrawny looking guy in a suit who hasn't done anything the entire game turns out to be buff as fuck.
He's actually a really famous actor in Japan as well. Like, the Yakuza series gets some amazing actors in it. And again, you don't actually fight the guy. You'll see him here. He's going to fight Nagamo, but we, for once, don't actually fight him. The series does so good at just building the hype. So we're going to start off with the usual trusty dropkick. He will QTE around about 3/4 HP, so I'm going to do one combo, and then I'm going to extreme heat. Try and get him down as low as possible. 5, 6, 7. He is someone who can block the strong attack as well. Try to make sure this QT goes through. Good job. I didn't. So I'm gonna... this real quick. He doesn't do stamina? Huh. Well. Unfortunately, if he grabs you in that grab, he's actually really, really nasty, so you have to get out real quick. I don't have quick escape. It's one of the things I didn't upgrade this run, but it doesn't give me any damage. Now we do. That is gonna be... time. Nice.
Eject him onto the
Good landing.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right. There's about 45 minutes of ending cutscenes, so to get to the karaoke faster, I'm going to skip through those. I'm not going to spoil what happens in the plot either. You're going to have to go find out yourself.
Just barely went over 3 hours.
I can skip the credits, right? I'm certain I can skip the credits. I can't skip the credits. Well, it's a good thing I'm 15 minutes underestimate, isn't it?
I don't know, can you just restart the game?
Is it faster to just...
First playthrough, maybe?
I don't know where the autosave would be. The autosave might be in the fight.
I mean, if you're gonna do karaoke, can you just load an autosave?
No, because there's only the one save. I only have the one save. So.
Would just like to remind everybody that the donation bid wall for the karaoke is currently tied, so get those donations in to get your song in the karaoke incentive right now.
We apparently have a little time because apparently you can't skip the credits in any percent.
Yeah, so I guess we just let it roll until
I swear I have skipped these before. Like, I'm like 99% certain I've skipped these before.
Yeah, but did you do it the first playthrough? Since this is a new one on a different PS4?
I've done it after my runs.
Yeah, but after your runs.
Yeah. But I start a new path like every time because it's any percent. Unfortunately, you can't load a save because there's a small chance the autosave is in the fight, so you probably have to redo the fight, so... But... very, very good thing we came in underestimate, but that gives everybody a little bit more time to get some donations in for the Lego Harry Potter incentive, for the karaoke incentive.
I would also like to make a quick announcement that the Harry Potter couching incentive was reached, so thank you to everyone who donated for that one.
I swear these are skippable. I do apologize for this. I was going to help get the schedule back on track. I'm just making it worse. That's a good point as well. Some of the minigames in this, Puyo Puyo is available. The entirety of Virtua Fighter 5 is playable. And there you go, there's the list of the Japanese pro wrestler names. So if you recognize them, there's some hostesses. And Paul Lim himself playing Paul Lim, the Darts Master.
Paul Lim starring Paul Lim.
Oh my god. I better be able to skip the other credits.
What other credits?
Should have been the same. Screw it.
I don't remember how long these credits are. Like at all.
I think they're like 5 minutes. They're not on Ubisoft credits, that's for sure. I think they're short.
5 minutes is still kind of long.
We're still going through voice actors. Like interspurts them, like the voice actors and then the actors and then the people who worked on the game. If it does not allow me to skip these cutscenes afterwards, I'm going to be very upset. At that point, it'd be faster to restart the game and get to the karaoke.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when this. Do you have karaoke in the beginning of the game?
About 5 minutes in. Hey. Yeah, sure. Like I said earlier, I again like to give a huge thanks to ESA themselves. I volunteered for donation reading, which is kind of what we've been doing. What we're doing here at ESA, we're raising money for Save the Children. Save the Children is the charity of choice where basically all of your donations are going to go towards Save the Children, which is going to help children all around the world. We have a lot of partners who have made this event possible, and without them it wouldn't be possible to actually have this event. We've got the likes of Twitch, Erosi, oh my god, I can't skip those. Western Digital Black with their Western Digital Black NVMe SSD, Red Bull, ViewSonic, the city of Malmö, of course, who helped us get here into this hotel and to help make ESA bigger this year, and Twitch, obviously. Domino's, if you're in Sweden, there's a promo code of ESA 18?
Yeah.
Thank you for 20% off pizzas. And yeah, I just want to shout out, a huge shout out to Tech, to the crew, for everybody. Everybody I gave a mini heart attack to last night. Apologize about that. Apologize about the fact I can't skip the credits right now. I promise you this has never happened before. But we'll be going into karaoke right after this. We can pick a save straight up and go straight there. It'll only take about 20 seconds.
How is the bidding war looking?
Bid war is still tied, so get those donations in right now.
Can I donate?
I mean, we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll donate then. So how much this is? How much is this, dude? I don't even suck, dude. Oh, I know.
Like, just make it like 50 or something. Or 100.
How much that is? Yeah, that much.
That's towards what?
Today's a diamond. It's all for charity.
I'm surprised you even bought cash here. I learned very badly the last time I came to Sweden that they do not use much cash.
I messed up. Like
Yeah.
I said, this trip I messed up so badly. multiple times. It's not been good.
It was a struggle last year to use the last of the cash. I was just like,
Yeah.
nope, only card. I have learned.
Okay, so the donation incentive for the karaoke is going to be today's a diamond decided by the runner himself.
It's rigged.
So the donation incentive is now fully closed and decided.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for the credits.
You can enjoy the music though.
We should
Credits
hopefully be over
music's good.
soon. Again, I apologize profusely because I've done this in my runs at home where you can skip right through these, so I do apologize. I guess I'd like to thank everybody who's... I'll do my thanks now. I'd like to thank especially everybody straight away who's donated, who has watched, who has supported this marathon, supported this run, supported every other run, supported the next run, all the runners themselves. This has been like a fantastic event. Year in, year out, this is a fantastic event, and it makes me proud to be able to kind of give back to ESA a little bit and show them some support for giving us all the support they do, as well as our wonderful partners who help make this event possible. I would like to thank, obviously, I said earlier, Sloth, who saved my bacon many, many times. Actually, his PS4 we're on at the moment. Excuse me, that's
eventually, right?
That CC Lemon has made me a little strong inside. Wow. I'd like to thank Pop-Tart for also couching for me. Again, I'd like to thank Half Coordinated. He's an awesome guy. And we don't really have like a community like setup for the Yakuza games. Obviously with Yakuza 0 coming out soon, there's going to be some renewed interest in it because of the PC version. If you ever need to talk like strategy or the run or anything with any of the runners, come to us. We're all very much approachable. I'm happy to talk the run anytime. It's a wonderful set of runs. Again, they're not too hard to get into. They're quite comfy. Obviously, Yakuza 0 to Yakuza 5 are a bit more comfy because you can't skip certain cutscenes. Yakuza 5 is a nightmare. Yakuza 5 is like a 9-hour run.
Yeah. That's why you don't run it.
That's why this is kind of a good point to like start if you want to start the Yakuza games, because everything is skippable. And the story is pretty much self-contained for the most part. So we're going to get the end screen here. I'm going to make a second save just in case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then we're going to load that up, and we're going to go do some karaoke. Well, I'm not singing. I wouldn't put you through that.
Oh, thank God it's recording again.
Maybe that's why, because it was a first playthrough. Because maybe there's a link to the PS4.
I always have to look at that one. That one's so confusing. I don't know why. Like every so often I'll look at that menu and I'll just be like, okay. No, I don't want to start a new game.
That's not right.
Also, as part of kind of premium adventure, there's a UFO flying around. You can go and find it if you want. Doesn't do anything, but it's there. So fortunately, they actually moved the karaoke place in 6 to a lot closer to where you start off here. So we can just go out and go and do that. Yeah, no, I messed up. I got so much money out of my bank, and like Sweden is like a really nice, like mostly like card based now.
I've got all this cash and everything is card only.
Can't spend any of it, so might as well donate it to charity. Can I not get into a fight right now, thanks? Alright. Alright, so here we go.
The true highlight of the Yakuza series.
There's a
Karaoke.
So I'm going to keep quiet for this, so enjoy. And that's Yakuza 6. I won't keep you any longer. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for donating, and keep supporting ESA and Save the Children.
Yeah.
Don't wait around and let it slip away.
Okay, thank you Froob for that Yakuza 6 run. We had a $10 donation from Kate Maddock with no comment. We got a $1.69 donation from Anonymous saying a bomb. And we have a $45 donation from D Live